Restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Here's the Wall Street Business Report.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
Some of the candidates that you'll see on the ballot. I'm Chris Davis. It took a little more than a week to get the final results for the primary election, but the final tally coming from the Secretary of State's office says that Democrat Javier Becerra, the former Secretary of Health for the Biden administration, who was also a California Attorney General, will face Republican commentator Steve Hilton in the general election. Tom Steyer, also a Democrat, came in third and will not advance to the general. Yes. You will also get to choose a new congressman if you live in District 22, with the final results saying progressive Democrat Randy Vallejos.
This is why the show sucked
Republican David Valadao in that race in November. Valadao got a little over 40% of the vote, with Vallejos at about 32%, and State Assembly member Dr. Jasmine Baines getting about 27%, which means she will not advance. A man was hit by a vehicle last night on Golden State Avenue near Highway 204 and is in critical condition. That happened just before 10:30 p.m., say Bakersfield police. They got the call, and when they got there, found that man with major injuries. They say he stepped into the street outside of the crosswalk and was hit by a Toyota hatchback. Police say that driver stayed and cooperated with them.
Let me try it.
Bakersfield police were at a house on Country Place Lane this morning, and that was causing some traffic delays in that part of southwest Bakersfield. Bakersfield PD did not explain what they were doing there, but we're asking people to find another way to go. Gas went down a couple of cents and was $5.81 for the state average today, says Gas Buddy. The least expensive in this area was $3.17 per gallon at a station on Edison Highway in Bakersfield. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
To the rest, well, in a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's going to give you what you want.
Too late. They start shooting in a week.
I'm going to make him an offer again with you.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody. And a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing. For those subscribing on YouTube, this is the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com and broadcasting live on YouTube. We got a busy show on this Wednesday, 10th day of June, my high school best friend's 64th birthday. And I reminded the pretty boy quarterback shortstop who dated the only cute black girl at my high school, the no good son of a, that he'll forever be 2 months older than I. My birthday is in August. Coming up, we got a busy show. Steve Hilton is officially a gubernatorial candidate in the general election. We'll go over some of that, including Graham Plattner, including Rudy Villegas, a very progressive, woke liberal, going to be taking on David Valadao. And Carmelo Anthony, no, not that Carmelo Anthony, the now 19-year-old who was sentenced yesterday and found guilty, got 35 years in sentencing. We'll give you the backdrop on that story. It's a Wednesday. So owner-operators of Adaptive Network is coming in to join us, and they have a guest as well. And the ceasefire apparently has ended as the United States and Iran exchange gunfire or military fire, and the Israelis are bombing Lebanon again, going after Hezbollah. We'll get you caught up on that. I'm sure Mr. Flores talked about it, but KGT is reporting that Ed Jagels, they have more information on his DUI arrest, what he blew and what went on when he was found passed out behind the wheel. And that was apparently, from the reports, was a citizen report. That wasn't the police that found that, because then the report says that the police followed him and found him banging up against a median, and that he blew a 1.53, which is almost twice the legal limit, as most of you know. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. The man's 77 years old, and why he's driving from the Northwest apparently back down into town, I don't know. But that's the report from KGT. And you remember Irina Zaratska? I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. She is the 23-year-old Ukrainian girl who came here to escape the war. She was working at a pizza parlor. She wanted to be a veterinarian. She was getting off from work in Charlotte, North Carolina. All she did was get on the transit, and she's sitting there. I'm sure many of you have seen the video. And a wild, crazy man by the name of DeCarlos Brown Jr., and he has a minor record. I'll get to that in just a second. But he took a knife and slashed her throat. And if you've ever seen the video, uncut, it is one of the most difficult things to watch, because she's alive and knows she's dying for about 35, 45 seconds, the amount of time it takes the human body to desanguinate. And he's sitting behind her on the transit, and he comes up from behind her. She's on her phone, as most 20-somethings are. And she's sitting in front of him, just minding her own business, just got off work, still in her pizza uniform. And he takes a knife and accurately grabs her jugular and rips her throat. And she grabs her throat and looks up. And I can't remember what she gurgled out. I think she gurgled out, "You stabbed me." And she sat there and died at the scene. And as I mentioned, her assailant had kind of a rap sheet. He had been arrested 7 times. Wait a minute, 8 times. No, 9 times. No, I'm sorry, 10. No, 11, 12. He was arrested 14 times. He was arrested 14 times. Amongst his criminality, armed robbery, breaking and entering, putting his hands on a woman. These are all state crimes. He's finally, because he did it on a transportation vehicle, that makes it now a federal crime. And I'll tell you what a judge did today that will make you quite upset, but we'll get into that in the 4 o'clock hour. And coming up at 5, it's our BC segment. We're going to talk with Ellis Dean, who is part of the Morehouse College School of Medicine, which, no, my father did not graduate from. He graduated from Morehouse College, but the medical school was built even after I fumbled around Atlanta for 4 years. So we will talk about the program that is working with BC and how they're working with Morehouse College Medical School to bring students out here, get them entrenched, and hope they will finish their medical degree and then become a doctor here in our own community. And Serena Williams won. Did you see the clips? Did you see that she won? Like, I never doubted her ability to be competitive in doubles.
No.
I still don't think she can compete on a singles level. Not now, but maybe if she gets in shape. I just can't see her.
44, 45.
Sabalenka, Coco Gauff, Iga Swiatek.
They're all focused on the singles. They won't care about the doubles.
Well, I'm talking about if she were to try singles.
Oh, true.
This is who she's got to go up against.
Yeah, no, I don't think.
And I just,
actually, you know what? I put her up against Coco. Although Coco's talented.
Coco's too quick. That's Coco's gift. Coco will run down anything. But you're right. If Coco has a bad serving day, which is her Achilles heel,
yeah, she could lose.
You never know. God, it was so fun to watch her win. It really was. And it was just so cool to see her 8-year-old daughter grinning and smiling and welcoming, because that's why she's doing it. She wanted, like most athletes who marry young, they want their kids to see them play. That's one of the David Carr's regrets. His kids never saw him play. And you got to be that guy. You got to sound like Ralph Bailey and tell old stories about how you were an athlete. But we'll get into that.
Speaking of the cars with the kids, but did you hear what Derek is going to do with the newest one?
No, I saw a reel of his where he challenged his kids to the worst costume.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
And they're voting on that on Instagram.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
No, he claims that the family plans to make it a secret from the newest baby for however long they could possibly do it until he finally wises up.
Oh, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I'm curious to see how long they can make that happen, though.
It's the lone girl in the family, right?
Smallest detail, which in return speed up the process, reducing the time patients spend in surgery.
And who is a good candidate for the implants?
Almost anyone missing teeth, as long as the patient has enough bone to support the implant or can undergo a bone graft. Implants are a great option. We always do a thorough evaluation to make sure the implants are the best solution for each patient's unique needs.
Get the smile you've always wanted without anxiety at Affordable Dentures and Implants. Dr. Nozar Kesh, who specializes in implants with IV sedation. Visit them online at affordabledentures.com. Affordable Dentures and Implants. That's what we do.
Go ahead and smile.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times.
I tried the prior thing one more time.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped
tried
me.
the prior
Optima
thing
Tax
one more
Relief,
time.
The best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did.
You didn't get it?
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
You're right. Go to some little league thing.
For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
I have no time left. Did I tell you I saw Sinners?
Finally watched it?
I did.
What'd you think?
I didn't know it was a vampire movie.
Yeah, I thought we told you that.
No, I thought it was like a monster movie.
Oh, no. It's a vampire movie.
I did not know that.
Well, I mean, if you can even call it a vampire movie.
It's a totally vampire. What are you talking about?
No. It is a vampire movie. Don't get me wrong.
God,
the vampire is the antagonist of the movie. But if you watch the trailer, you would never know that.
Oh, no, that's what I'm saying. I've seen many of the trailers. I thought it was about a juke joint and 2 brothers in business. And
you would think it's just some.
I thought that the guy was going to be the Klan, and he was going to come back with the Klan.
Right.
And then the white girl, who is one of the girls, goes out and gets eaten, and then it's all like Donkey Kong. When she gets eaten, she's the first one that gets eaten, right?
Yes.
I almost turned it off. I was like,
well, you know who that is.
Who is that?
Josh Allen's wife.
Is it really?
That's Haley Steinfeld.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's Josh Allen's wife.
Wow, because she could almost pass for light-skinned black. Maybe that's the makeup, maybe. I didn't know that's Josh Allen's wife.
Yeah.
God, she was hot.
Mm-hmm.
Good googly moogly.
She's also, and again, not to make this parallel that weird, but if you remember the True Grit remake with Jeff Bridges.
Oh yeah, she was a little girl. That I knew.
She was a little girl.
That I knew. She was really good as a little girl.
That was the first thing I saw her in.
Yeah, not as good as the original Pam Dauber. Or is that Mindy? I think Pam Dauber is Mindy. Just ignore what I'm talking about. So we've got Stephen Hilton in. We're very happy about that. And Graham Plattner is in. Graham Plattner, the Nazi, got 71% of the vote. He got 71% of the vote as a Nazi. Because I'm sorry, that's how I will reference him. Have you ever heard of anybody that doesn't support Nazism, that puts Nazi stuff on their body? Ever in your life? You ever met anybody who just said, yeah, I just put a swastika on my body for laughs and giggles? No, just about everybody I know that's ever put any type of symbol. His was not a swastika. It was a prison guard symbol. But just about everybody that I've met, that has put Third Reich related tattoos on their body are Nazis or supporters of Nazism. And this guy may be on his way to the United States Senate. Susan Collins is an incredibly weak candidate in a purple state of Maine, and it is unlikely she can stop this monster who ousted on the Democratic side a popular governor. They love this guy, and it just goes to show you the hypocrisy, because I don't care about the sex stuff. I never have. I didn't dismiss the Democratic Party and Bill Clinton. Yeah, I did. But not because he had sex outside of his marriage. That wasn't my issue with Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton disrespected the White House. Bill Clinton took advantage of a child. You know what I'm saying? He was 4 years away from committing a crime. Monica Lewinsky was 21 years old. And then the way they treated her after that, essentially ruining her life, led by the unlikable Hillary Clinton, is what made me just say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. And Jasmine Crockett, among other black folks, are saying that Carmelo Anthony, no, not that Carmelo Anthony, the now 19-year-old who got 35 years for stabbing a kid in the heart, they're saying he got lynched. 21st century lynching. You know, Jasmine, that's why you're not running for the United States Senate. That's why James Tellerico smacked your ass, lady. You are nutsy cuckoo. The Current Radio studios are powered by Adaptive Networks. And after these important words, Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstine and their guest. I would stick around if I you.
Current Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The U.S. military has begun another round of strikes against Iran. U.S. Central Command said in a social media post that the military is striking multiple targets in Iran and that it's being done in response to Iran's unwarranted and continued aggression. The strikes come just a day after the U.S. struck Iran following the crash of an Army helicopter near the Strait of Hormuz that President Trump blamed on the Islamic Republic. Bill Gates says he made an error in judgment by ever meeting with Jeffrey Epstein, as the Microsoft co-founder faces questions behind closed doors from lawmakers about his relationship with the disgraced financier. On Wall Street, the Dow plunged 953 points, the Nasdaq dropping 509, the S&P lower by 119. More on these stories at srnnews.com.
The Federal Reserve has just announced Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. Headlines from the KERN Newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. Bakersfield police were asking people to stay away from Country Place Lane in Southwest Bakersfield this morning, saying they were at a house there and it was causing some delays. They did not explain exactly what was going on. Democrat Javier Becerra, who is a former state attorney general and Biden administration health secretary, will face Republican commentator Steve Hilton in the general election for governor in November. The final results of the primary election were announced Tuesday by the Secretary of State's office. In the race for Congress, District 22, incumbent Republican David Valadao will face progressive Democrat Randy Vallejos in the general election. A man was hit on Golden State Avenue last night about 10:20. Bakersfield police say the person who hit him stayed and cooperated with them. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Hey, it's that man again for Sangera Subaru. You know, the world's biggest tournament is here. And this summer, Sangera Subaru is bringing all the excitement home. So they're kicking it off with some incredible offers. And I was going to call Donnie and ask him. Right now, lease a 2026 Outback Premium CVT for $229 a month for 36 months and $5,014 due at signing. Plus, every Subaru comes standard
with symmetrical all-wheel drive.
Yeah,
So don't miss your chance to drive something new during soccer's biggest event of the summer going on right now at Sangera Subaru. So stop by, see my good friends Damon Culbertson and Hassan Levy, and test drive a brand new Subaru. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community. 5,500 gasoline alley drive in the Bakersville
I
Auto
really
Mall.
don't.
Lease 2026 Subaru
I gotta
Outback Premium
do it,
CVT
though.
with TSRP $37,287, $229 per month plus tax for 36 months. Total lease payments $8,855, $5,014 total due at lease signing. Includes first month payment, excludes tax, title, license, and $85 document fee. Total lease cost $13,869, excludes tax and fees. No security deposit. Lease based on 7,500 miles per year, 50 cents per mile over. Available to qualified customers through Subaru Motor Finance on approved credit. Expires June 30, 2026. Excludes optional equipment and dealer installed accessories. VIN number TY514370.
First Look with Scott Cox, mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, our friend Rick Kreiser from Guitar Masters is coming by with our current Guitar Master. Wait till you get a load of this guy. We have the latest in state-of-the-art election results. That's all coming in.
Let me go in here
News,
and see
traffic,
what's
weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show.
Hey.
Starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
I was caught in the middle of a railroad track. Thunder underground, and I knew there was no turning back. Thunder, my mind raced, and I thought, what could I do? Thunder, and I knew there was no help from you. Thunder, sound like beating in my heart. Tore me apart.
Nice to meet you, Mary. Nice to meet you. What's happening? How are you? Good. We are. Eight 842 KERN. We've got lots to do on this busy day. We're coming up in the 5 o'clock hour. We're going to meet Ellis Dean. It's our BC segment. They are connected with Morehouse School of Medicine down in Atlanta, Georgia, and they have a program with Bakersfield College. We'll explain, and we'll get you caught up on the Iranian situation. The president has hit back, so we're going to hit again. We'll hear from the president, and we've got some more information on our former DA, Ed Jagels. We'll share that with you as well. But as those who are on YouTube can see, the Van Alstines have joined us. I'm flanked by Jennifer to my right, your left, and of course, Ryan. And I'll let Ryan introduce your guest from Toyota.
Yeah, thanks, Ralph. We've got Mary Madland, founder and owner of Madland Toyota Lift here in Bakersfield, California.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, Ralph.
How are you?
I've listened to you for a long time.
Well, thank you. You're the one.
I am.
You're the one. There's always one.
Yes.
I'm kidding. What are we doing today? I'm going to let you guys take care of this.
Right on. Well, today we're going to do something new. We're going to start a little 4-part series here. Basically looking at, is it time to look at changing some things with your IT situation?
Yeah. Do companies even know if they need to change things with
No.
their IT? No. You don't think so?
No.
Yeah.
No. And that's what we're doing this series on, is to kind of let people know these are the things you need to look for. There's, we've identified a few common symptoms that people just need to kind of be aware of, and they might relate, or, as we bring these up, they might say, hey, I've been experiencing that, so just to kind of educate your listeners about, what a bad IT relationship might look like, and then to know when it is time to upgrade your IT provider.
Yeah. I'm not trying to bring you closer to me, but why don't you swing this way
Okay.
and bring that around?
All right.
Because you're a beautiful woman, and I want them to see your face as opposed to
yeah.
your profile.
Okay.
Oh, that's much better.
Thanks.
Much
I
better.
don't like my profile anyway, so that works out.
Yeah.
There you go. Come on, let's all show faces. Everybody get on board here. Everybody, there we go. Now we're one big happy family. All right, go ahead, Jen.
Yeah. So there's a couple. We identified 3 symptoms to kind of look for. Ryan, you want to start us out?
Sure. Yeah, so the first symptom is that you never see the same technician twice. If you think of it this way, you've built your business over the last decade or more. You've built systems, servers, processes, people, kind of how things work, and those things all play into your IT. These guys are supporting like how your business runs day to day, and we liken it to if you go to the doctor. And you go to the doctor, and every time it's a different physician. They're looking over the chart and they're looking over notes, but you don't know them. They don't know you.
That's a great analogy.
And a lot of times that's what companies are dealing with. And they go, hey, I'm spending my time and my money on educating the technician that's coming in and just saying, hey, here's what we've got. And then the next time they come out, we're doing it all over again. I mean, we've seen where clients have complained. They're like, the tech comes out, they don't even know where the server room is. They don't even know who the key contact is. They don't know who to go find when they have a problem. So, it just, it doesn't help the business. And so I mean.
I can bring up an analogy. We had a nightmare of a system, absolute nightmare of a system. And Ryan was there, night and day. And I have three dealerships, formerly 4. But he would be there all the time. And I went up and I'm like, he was there so much. I tried to hire him. I didn't know he owned the company. I'm like, hey, it might make sense because you're here so much. But that's the kind of service I've gotten from them.
Can I steal you from Adaptive? No,
Well, that's
not really.
exactly-
I had to tell her, I'm like, you already do have me hired. You got me retained. I'm here.
I didn't. You're so humble and wonderful, and the service that was given to us was incredible because we were in terrible situations. We were down all the time, and he's helped us transition from, because it costs so much money when I have people down.
Yeah.
We had over 100 and some people, and that cost me a lot of money when they're not taking care of everything. But he would be there and over, over the last few years, I never see you. I haven't tried to hire you again.
That's a good thing.
I was like, there's no way the owner of the company's at my dealership day and night.
Yeah.
And drives to the branches and Camarillo. So these guys really go above and beyond.
And you guys heard me talk about that. Customer service is their baseline, basically. It's what really they're founded on. It really is.
And Mary's been with Adaptive longer than I have. She's been a loyal client for over a decade, or about a decade, and very happy to have her. I've gotten to know her through Ryan and loved her.
Yeah.
You'll get to know her more.
Yeah, Ryan has a great beard.
Thank you. Thank you.
But anyway, I'll tell you, I know you have other comments, but you guys and your service and a husband and wife team in business, I just don't think you can get any better than that.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
Thanks.
I absolutely agree. Let's get symptom number 2.
Symptom number 2. I'll let Jen take this one.
Okay.
That's a kind of another healthcare analogy we likened it to is when you have the same problem that keeps coming back.
Yeah.
You submit a ticket, the tech comes out, fixes the problem, ticket's closed. The next week, the very same thing happens. You submit a ticket, tech comes out, ticket's closed, and it just keeps going and going. And so if you're having to submit tickets for the same problem, then they're just treating the symptom and not the infection.
Right.
So what we should really look for is if you have recurring issues, there is obviously an underlying problem that needs to be addressed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, and being proactive on that as well.
All right. Number 3.
Oh, 1 and 2. So those are pretty good bangers there. So you never see the same person, but you always see the same problem. So for number 3 is a little bit different because number 3 is actually a feeling. It's that dread you feel when you have to call your MSP. It's that feeling that you're just like, I got to call them again. Are they going to take care of the problem? You've already lost faith by this point. And you're like, okay, I call them out. We have problems. You might get to a point where they're blaming you for the problem and saying, hey, it's you guys. You're crazy. You don't understand. And it really doesn't have to be that way. It really should be a relational. If you do customer service right, You want people to feel good about that experience, because when you build your business around these systems, you can't have these problems of keep just going back to the same place that you were. Everything in the world is moving forward, and it's moving forward fast. So
Especially technology.
That is the biggest, one of the biggest things is when you just have that dread and you're like, God, I got to call them again. Do I wait? Do I put it in? Do I deal with the frustration for the next, month, 2 months, 3 months? We've seen it all. And I would say that one's when you really know, when you just have that feeling that you're like, I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this again.
Is there a common recurring problem that you see from people that when you first bring them on and they've had the same IT company for a while?
The biggest problem is just people aren't dealing with the root causes. Like they're not giving the client the time. They're not invested in the structures and the processes to actually move things forward. They're just kind of sitting in this repetitive side. They're just running on the hamster wheel.
Just
going on a hamster wheel. The same problem comes back, and then they fix it and put a patch on the same problem. But businesses can't move forward like that, Ralph. They just get stuck.
But what I've seen, to your point there, is Ryan came in and spent the time. Well, number one problem, the problem a lot is training our people and spending the time versus chasing other problems, but spending the time, which was well spent, might I say, of getting our people trained.
Wow, that's big.
Worth a lot of, definitely, thank you.
Yeah, you can train 1 or 2 people, and you can avoid a lot of recurring things, because you gotta understand the people are the ones that operate it. So if they don't know how they're supposed to be operating the systems, they don't have, you have people, process, and system. The system can be perfect, the process can be broken, or the person's understanding or interpretation of it can just be flawed. And so if you can get in that layer, that's why IT is not just systems, it's a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's a lot of saying, and that's why I got into this versus going into software programming or hardware engineering, is because I realized like I wanted to interface in the layer between the people interfacing with the systems, people and systems, and there's a space in between that you've got to bridge that gap and translate between. So I think the client, like Mary said, is that we help their people interact with their technology. I think that's why the results show.
A lot of people had a different idea of what our process was. It's like there'd be 5 different ideas of how to close an invoice, how to open an invoice, how to bill it. I mean, it was just a nightmare. And a lot of it, besides our system and you getting those kinks fixed, were training my people and getting, everybody had a process and had done their own, I don't know, what do you call them? Their own kind of programs or reports they ran.
Yep.
And getting those, reports.
Oh boy. Yeah.
There was like 8,000 reports in this place. Everybody had a report and was smarter than Ryan. They're all smarter than me, I know that. But
and nobody could find them.
Yeah.
So you come in and bring some kind of uniformity to it?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think
for a couple
I would
clients doing that
imagine that holds true in a lot of companies, because you kind of blame it on the computer. You don't tend to take a look at yourself of maybe your process. Number one, hasn't been established yet, which mine hasn't. I had no idea. And they came in and, okay, this is what we do. And it was a great partnership. And
So Mary, you've been with us for 10 years. How often do you even think about your IT anymore?
well, oh, no, I don't.
Exactly.
I think about you and Ryan.
Thank you.
That's
I
right.
think about you and
That's
Ryan.
right. We think
We have a
about
great time
But
together.
no,
Yeah.
we don't have,
And that's how it should
I'm
be.
not getting emails, after hours or on weekends, the system's down, or during work hours, because our system would be down all the time during work hours. I mean, absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
And you spent the time,
That's right.
to get it, but working with your customer and their staff to get your staff trained
Yeah.
solves a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And spending that time up front. We try to do that with each client that we onboard.
And you
just
wouldn't
get
think
it
you
all
could do
together.
that really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, Ryan, come in and fix it. Don't care. I want it fixed. I don't want to hear about it. But
Yeah.
a lot of it, is on our end.
Yeah.
And most business owners, they don't want to think about IT. They don't. They just want it to work and, be able to operate their business and move their business forward. And that's our goal. So when I ask you, how often do you think about it? When you say never, that's what we want.
Yeah, exactly. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Yeah,
Especially as the owner. Or
It's
CEO.
it's so far out of our wheelhouse of how do we know?
Mhm.
You just, pay someone and hopefully they're coming up with solutions.
That you're paying them for.
Yes, that we're paying them for, but where it's not an issue anymore.
So let's kind of wrap up today's one of our 4-part lessons for IT. It's really about customer service. It's about uniformity and bringing some order to the company. But let you wrap this thing up.
Yeah. So so if you're having any of those feelings, if you're feeling like you have that dread, the problem keeps coming back, the revolving door of technicians, just stay tuned for the next couple parts. We're going to be back in, I think, next week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we will jump into what IT should look like in 2026. So we've shown you what to look for. Now we want to shine some light on what could be possible and what it should look like for IT. Because what we see is a lot of companies with there's cloud AI compliance. We see a lot of other competitors that are stuck back in 2015 or older, and the technology is moving so fast. You've got to be on the edge of this stuff, or it's just going to pass people by. So we'll be back in a couple weeks, and that'll be our next segment. So
and give us a preview of the next segment.
So next segment will be we will be looking at what exactly you should be wanting from your IT in 2026.
All right, very good. So join Mary and American General Media, because again, as I've tried to tell you guys, we depend on them. We're in partnership with Adaptive Networks, and they power our radio station and Toyota Lyft. And we got a great testimonial from Mary. Mary, thanks for coming in. We really nice meeting you.
Thank you.
And we will talk with you again, part 2, coming up in a couple of weeks. Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstine, or is it Jennifer and Ryan? I'm not sure. I get those two mixed up. Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks.
Quick time out. We still got lots to do. Coming up at the 5, we're going to meet Ellis Dean from the Morehouse School of Medicine. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, I've got some Iranian news. I've got this horrible story out of Charlotte, North Carolina, the young Ukrainian girl who literally had her throat slit on a train coming home in Charlotte. And her assailant had a minor criminal record. He'd been arrested 14 times. 14 times. 14 times this man has been arrested. I'll tell you the new news when we get to the bottom of the hour. You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. We're streaming live at kernradio.com. That was great, Mary. That was really good.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, our friend Rick
Kreiser
Kreiser from Guitar Masters is coming by with our current Guitar Master. Wait till you get a load of this guy. We have the latest in state-of-the-art election results. That's all coming in. News, traffic, weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, KERN.
Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day. No one can beat us, no one can touch us. You won't find better prices. Shop and compare, we don't care. Take a look.
Yeah. Really?
Come into Carpet Outlet Plus. Every day is sale day.
Carpet Outlet Plus installed over 1 million square feet of flooring last year alone. Over 20 years in Bakersfield's best flooring store means you can trust us with your hardwood, laminate, vinyl, and of course, carpet. Come in today to see over 100 waterproof floors from our in-stock inventory. It's probably been time to change your floors for a while, so call, click, or stop by today. Your free in-home estimate is waiting for you. Carpet Outlet Plus, 3.5 blocks west of 99 on Rosedale Highway.
Carpet Outlet Plus.
Okay. Do you want to come in next week? There you go.
From the FIFA World Cup to competitive business environments, grand ambitions lead to game-changing achievements. At Bank of America, we're there to support businesses at every step, providing insights and expertise to help you gain an edge.
He shoots. He scores.
What would you like the power to
take
do?
care, Mary.
Explore
Hi,
winning
Gilly.
business solutions at BofA.com/gamechangers. Bank of America, official bank of the FIFA World Cup 2026.
Jelly donut.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did. Have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today.
Visit
All right, where am I?
mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. Full terms at mintmobile.com.
We all start as tiny seeds, needing care, love, and a little sunlight. Then boom, we sprout, stretch, and grow through the world of childhood and teen years. Before you know it, we're blooming, working, parenting, thriving. And yes, even golden petals can shine bright. Join Kern County Public Health and thrive like a poppy. Visit KernPublicHealth.com to learn more.
Are you looking for a hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230 KER.
Music industry can make white people sing more than this song. No song. No song. I don't care where it is. You can play this in the middle of a Catholic church, and they would ignore the pastor. They would ignore the father, the priest, and just start singing, Sweet Caroline. Bum, bum, bum.
Just fair. No, you're absolutely fair. But hold on. I have one to one up that.
All right, let's see.
Give me 1 sec.
What do you got? What do you got? This ought to be rich.
To the place I belong.
West Virginia, my mama, take me home. Country road. You done lost your mind.
I'd put Country Roads up against it.
Are you
I love
serious?
Sweet Caroline, don't get me wrong, but Country Roads gets white people going too. I can say that.
I don't even know how you're aware of that song at 31.
Country Roads?
That song is older than you are.
Oh, I love
literally.
this song.
Literally. Good one, Mosley. There are a number of black songs. As you know us. We'll start dancing in the middle of a movie. And I've seen that. You think I'm kidding? I saw Buddy Holly, although it wasn't just strictly black folks, but I saw the original Buddy Holly with Gary Busey, and there are two musical scenes. I saw it at the what do they call that place in Hollywood? The big Cineramic, Cinedome, whatever the hell they call it. You know what I'm talking about?
I know of it, but I've never been.
And it was new. So I am. It was new when I went there in the 70s. And it has the big sound, and it was like a concert. It was crazy. And black people, and then the white folks started dancing. And I was like, look at black people dancing to Buddy Holly. Ain't that something? It was a trip. What do you got on the board before we get in the 4 o'clock hour?
Just one. It says, Ralph, you do know that Navajo symbol of peace looks like a Nazi symbol. Maybe he didn't know.
Are you serious? Are you really serious? Then how come his girlfriend knew? What, she investigated it? She took a picture of his chest and she looked it up? No, he told her. And what happened to this always believe women? You liberal Democrats are the biggest hypocrites in the world, because when Brett Kavanaugh's life was on the line and some woman proclaimed that he molested her in high school, you all were screaming, believe women, believe women. And the New York Times, your liberal beloved newspaper, reports 3 different women. And one of them says that the Times report soft-sold Graham Plattner's life experiences because they said they didn't have corroborating evidence. And she said, I tried to give them corroborating evidence. But this is bigger than that. This isn't even about the main Senate seat. It really isn't. If this wasn't about winning back the Senate, if the Democrats were in the vast majority, if they had a 56-44 majority, or if they didn't have any opportunity at winning back the Senate, they wouldn't give a damn about Graham Plattner. They wouldn't give a damn about the main Senate race. But they're probably going to win Ohio, where Sherrod Brown, a former U.S. Senator, is kicking John Huston's behind in the polls. They think they're going to win Texas. I don't know where that's going to go right now. Ken Paxton is a god-awful human being and a worse candidate. And they're going after James Tellerico. Have you seen how they're going after James Tellerico? Like implying that he's gay? Because he's 37 years old. He's never been married. He's 37. He looks like he's 12. So they think they may win there, the Democrats. They've got a good chance in Iowa, where Joni Ernst was run off. Thank you, Donald Trump. And they've got a good chance in North Carolina. But Maine is the kingpin, and that's why they don't mind getting in bed with a Nazi. Quick time out. We head into the 4. It's TRBS. Don't go anywhere.
Current Radio, AM 1230, KERN. 96.1 FM, K241CI Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
This hour from Town Hall, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. The United States and Iran trade missile fire in a heated escalation after a 2-month ceasefire. Correspondent Laura Winters reports.
The U.S. military striking Iran after an American helicopter is shot down. President Trump warning that Iran will face consequences for stalling and not agreeing to a peace deal. Iran busy firing missiles to Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan. On Truth Social, the president writing, Iran has taken too long to negotiate a deal that would have been great for them. Now they will have to pay the price. 3 explanation points. Laura Winters reporting.
The U.S. military says it's begun another round of strikes against Iran. U.S. Central Command said in a social media post that the military is striking multiple targets in Iran and that it's being done in response to Iran's unwarranted and continued aggression. Nevada Republican Governor Joe Lombardo will face Democratic Attorney General Aaron Ford in a battle to hold on to his seat in November.
It's considered one of the most competitive governor's races in the country. Las Vegas voter Trudy Platzer says her biggest concern is the rising cost of everything.
Gasoline prices. That bothers me because there are a lot of retirees and the whole community is suffering with that.
Las Vegas voter Jay Jaros has several concerns.
Housing, workers' rights, fighting against ICE.
Ford has been focusing his campaign on federal health care, food assistance, and affordability as Nevada continues to see a shortage of affordable housing and some of the highest gas prices in the country. Lombardo vows to focus on housing affordability if he serves a second term. I'm Donna Warder.
A rough day on Wall Street with the Dow plunging 953 points, the Nasdaq lower by 509, the S&P declined 119. More at townhall.com.
Did you really think Pure Talk was just going to sit back and watch America turn 250 years old without doing something awesome to celebrate? Of course not. That's why they're raising $250,000 for America's Warrior Partnership by the end of July. America's Warrior Partnership is on the front line of preventing veteran suicide. They've had extraordinary success, and here's how you can help. When you switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk this month, you'll be invited to round up to support America's Warrior Partnership. No pressure, but if you do, Pure Talk will match your donation dollar for dollar. And to further celebrate 250 years of our extraordinary democratic republic, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. That's pound 250, say Mike Rowe. And happy birthday to us.
Feels good in here.
China's auto export.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update.
Police on Country Place Lane. I'm Chris Davis. That's in southwest Bakersfield, and police did confirm that they were at a house there this morning, and a lot of cops were out there, but they had not made it clear exactly why. But that police presence was affecting traffic, so they were asking people to stay out of the area if possible. In the race for governor of California, the top two candidates are a Democrat and a Republican. Former Secretary of Health for the Biden administration and a former state attorney general, Javier Becerra, will face Republican commentator Steve Hilton in the results that took a little more than a week to count. Both men beat out Democrat Tom Steyer, who spent millions on his campaign but came in third. Incumbent Republican David Valadao will face progressive Democrat Randy Villejas in the general election in November in the race for U.S. House District 22. The final results in that race from the Secretary of State's office came after more than a week of counting. Valadao got just over 40% of the vote, and Villejas got about 32%, with State Assembly member Dr. Jasmeet Bains getting 27%. Some of the possible new names being considered for Cesar Chavez Elementary School include Harvest Valley, Mountain View, and Katherine Johnson Elementary. Those names were some of the ones that were discussed last night at the board meeting for the Bakersfield City School Board, which decided to rename the school after sexual abuse accusations against Chavez came out this spring. The final decision is expected to be made June 23rd, and the changes would take effect in August. Many of the community members and board members believe that the new name should still honor the legacy of farm workers in the community. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
To the rest well in a month from now, this Hollywood big shot's gonna give you what you want. Too late. They start shooting in a week. I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour two of the broadcast on this Wednesday, Hump Day. For those of you expecting Howard Marcus, Howard has moved to Tuesday, so don't forget that. Had one yesterday. And one of the worst shows and one of the best shows, two things can be true at the same time. Content-wise, it was an outstanding broadcast. We had problems with the phones. We had problems with the host/executive producer, who, in fact, let me see what Madeline, my Trump cabinet connection just texted me. Hi, Ralph. Just wanted to double check. She's double checking now. Because
after yesterday, I
thought that, and it's partly her fault. She blew me up yesterday morning, woke me up at 6 a.m, and started sending me these emails with questions and everything. And I'm like, well, I don't do that, but thank you, but boop, boop, boop. And so I think I just assumed it was today. I don't think I scheduled it like that. I think I just said, well, she's bugging me today. It must be today. I thought it was Thursday, but I don't know. And we were freaked out because we didn't have phones. And then it turned out that we're talking with Ambassador James Greer on Thursday. And we're sitting down with Guillermo Gonzalez, who has emerged as Melissa Hurtado's foe in that 16th Senate race. He is a Delano restaurateur, and Manpreet Kaur is, and I saw her signs by my house that are still out there. But shockingly, Manpreet Kaur not only was the third man out, cliche, obviously she's a beautiful woman, but she did very poorly, to be blunt, which was shocking. I thought that the two of them, Gonzalez and Kaur, were really going to challenge Melissa Hurtado. And I think that was their strategy. I told you that I got to attend their debate down at KGT 17, and I got to sit in the studio and actually watch them interact. And they were very friendly, and they were very complimentary of each other. As I said the night after the debate when I came in here, there were times when Guillermo Gonzalez would say something, and you couldn't see Manpreet Kaur, but she would be shaking her head in agreement. And there were times when Manpreet Kaur would say something, and off camera, Guillermo Gonzalez would be shaking his head, despite the fact that he's a Republican, she's a Democrat. And their strategy clearly was to beat up on Melissa Hurtado. All they both talked about that night, if there was one thing that I think viewers walked away from, was where is Melissa Hurtado? Why didn't she come to this debate? Why has she missed that debate? They both ganged up on her, hoping to obviously, and that just makes sense. I mean, I'm being the master of the obvious. Two challengers definitely want to boot out the incumbent. That's just common sense. But Kaur's performance was shockingly poor, given her deep connections with the Sikh community and how the Sikh community is becoming a growing factor in Kern County politics. I thought she was going to do extremely well. She's incredibly articulate. She's a homegrown girl. She wears her love for this community on her sleeve. She is not as liberal as some, but her performance was shockingly poor, to be honest with you. And as we said at the top of the show, Randy Villegas has advanced. Jasmine Baines is now just a doctor. I don't think she can return to politics now. I think she's given up that seat, obviously, and her congressional bid was stymied, and that too was self-explanatory. And again, I'm not going to take a victory lap. Oh, the hell I'm not. The political prophet told you she had no chance. No chance. One of the foundations of being an effective politician is to be likable. Doesn't that make just plain, simple, common sense? That people want to see you and kind of like smile. Oh, here comes Charles Barkley. You know, when Charles Barkley walks in the room, nobody's like, ugh. Everybody in the room is like, hey, look, it's Charles. Have you seen the video that ESPN ran? Is that ESPN? They're on ESPN. Yes. Where Shaq just got out of a car in New York and went to the fence of a outside court, and slowly but surely, it was a great video, because there's one kid and he goes, that looks like Shaq.
It's like,
and then the next kid walks up to him and he goes, that is Shaq. And then somebody's like, Shaq? And then all of a sudden there is just a crowd, Shaq. And I was thinking, these kids are like 9.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know, inside the NBA has kept him alive, and all of his advertising. I mean, how do they know Chuck? How do they know Chuck? Chuck didn't play in the 21st century.
No.
But they know him, and people light up in the room. So that type of likability is part of being a politician. No, you're right. People aren't going to light up when you walk in a room like it's Charles Barkley or even Kenny the Jet or Ernie or any of these guys. They're celebrities. But you have to emote a sense of likability. We saw that failure in Hillary Clinton. We saw that failure in Katie Porter. We saw that failure in Dr. Jasmine Baines. Just not very likable. And I will give you this, because I know women are screaming at their radios right now. You're right. There is an absolute double standard. There's no question about that. I didn't create it. I'm just observing it. Men don't necessarily have to have that likability, although it goes a hell of a long way. I think that's Graham Plattner's secret weapon. He's been able to, I get it with the party, They want that seat, so they're going to ignore. This guy could kill somebody on Fifth Avenue, and they would be okay with it. Well, that's what Trump said. So what's the big difference? But how he's wooed Mainers, that's what I think they call them, folks from Maine, is unbeknownst to me. He's portrayed himself as an oyster farmer. He's not. He's not. He gets $5,000 a month disability from I think the Marine Corps, maybe the Army, I don't know, from the military, from the federal government. He's not an oyster farmer. He did a commercial where he's got a towel on his sleeve like he's some kind of sous chef and he's shucking oil. No. He's as dishonest as the day is long, but they just don't care. They just simply don't care. Meantime, how did I get into that? Oh, did I bring that up? Yeah, I don't know how about that. Meantime, the ceasefire apparently has ended, as you know. And how do they, the funniest thing about this war, do you guys know how we won the revolution? Do you really? Do you really? Because let me tell you something. General Washington, I know this sounds like blasphemy, but it's the truth. I like to consider myself a pseudo-historian. He was a horrible general. He was. Go look at his track record. He was a horrible general. He lost more battles than he won, but he was a brilliant man. And at one point within the revolution, he realized, I don't have to win. I don't have to win. America, the colonies, just have to survive long enough to become a pain in King George's arse. Time's on our side. All we got to do is hold them out. You see where I'm going with this? Isn't it ironic that, in my opinion, we're getting played by the Iranians because time is on their side? That we're in a quagmire with a country that's using the strategy that we use to get this country up on its feet. Isn't that crazily ironic? All they have to do is wait us out because the president absolutely refuses to play this thing straight. We had a compilation from the Abby Phillips show last night that started on, I believe, May 18th and went till tomorrow. And there were approximately, well, I wrote them down because I was going to scream them out as they came up. There was a March 23rd agreement in 2 or 3 days. There was a March 24th warning agreement 2 or 3 days. There was a March 25th. They want an agreement so badly. There was a March 29th. We're going to sign something, a great deal, anytime now. There was an April 15th on Jackie Robinson Day. Same thing. April 16th, April 17th, May 19th. And then finally on Monday, when he was coming back from the Knicks game, he said, we're hours away from a deal. And then you know what happened hours later? They shot down one of our Apache helicopters. They took a $20,000 drone and sank to the bottom of the Strait of Hormuz a multi-million-dollar Apache helicopter. I'm telling you, I know I've been critical of this thing, the manner in which it's been waged, but I've never until this week not seen an off-ramp. I don't see it. You really honestly believe in your heart that they're going to sign a deal? Really? You really think that the clerics and the IRGC and the politicians, the puppets they put up to discuss these things with Trump, they're going to sign a deal? And according to the president, the uranium is buried so far underneath the ground that only the Chinese and America can go get it. Then why did we start this? This is why I've been hammering the message, you got to play it straight in a war. What if those two pilots had died? What if those two pilots had died and we're claiming that the war is over? Marco Rubio in a Senate hearing the other day said the war is over. The military aspect of the war is over. We got lucky that those two guys survived. And the implementation of the sea drone. You see this? We've got all these automated sea drones that captured these guys. They jumped on board and took them back. We don't have to put men in harm's way. That's why I still believe that there's not going to be a full throttle up of this war. Trump cannot afford body bags. He just can't. This thing is at 65, 67% disapproval ratings. If body bags start coming home, good night, nurse. And we should be making a parking lot out of Iran right now. They shot down 2 of our pilots. They should have to pay for this. But what's the off-ramp? And Trump doesn't want to do this. Trump doesn't want to engage for the very reason I just stated. He's smart enough to know that if he has to go to Edwards and welcome home men in boxes with flags over them, he is in. It's over. It's all over. It truly is. Let's go ahead and take a break. We come back. You'll hear from the president, where he's promising to hit him and hit him hard. Hit him and hit him hard. Got to play it straight. You got to play it straight. Once you get caught lying, once the enemy sees you're lying, you've blinked. You've blinked. You've sent a message that you're impotent. You can't really do anything because you're selling wolf tickets, as we used to say in my neighborhood. You're talking a good game, but you're not doing a damn thing. And they're the victors. They now have leverage. We have provided them with leverage. We'll talk about it when we come back. Then bottom of the hour, we'll get into some criminal activity. We'll talk about the police report that KGET is reporting on our former district attorney, Ed Jagels, who, according to KGET and their police reports, he was found fast asleep in his vehicle and then drove off and played bumper cars with the median down by Stockdale and Callaway. And I'll give you the story of DeCarlos Brown Jr., one of the most despicable human beings you'd ever want to meet, who killed a 23-year-old Ukrainian girl who came here to escape the world. And I'll tell you what happened. There's news in that. And then coming up in the 5, we're going to meet Aaron Ellis, Dean from the Morehouse School of Medicine. He'll tell about the program connected with Bakersfield College and how we're trying to bring young med students to Kern County and hope they'll get ensconced in our community. And we'll wrap it up with some sports. Knicks Spurs tonight. Dodgers are in Pittsburgh. You haven't seen a Dodger game in like 2 nights.
Why?
Not on Sportsnet. Not on Sportsnet.
Oh, true.
Oh, but they're playing right now, and it's on Sportsnet. The game started at 3:30, as a matter of fact.
You asked me to turn it on. Is that what you're looking at?
No, because I'll be staring at it. I'll watch it on DVR tonight. Just don't give me any scores. Daniel Petrie texted me. What's Mr. Petrie saying? You're playing my walking music. Was that his walking music? What's his walking music? Oh, his walking music. I thought he meant his intro music.
No, that's definitely not his intro music.
Oh, it's just what he walks to.
Yeah.
I see. I didn't know that. Good information. We should have tomorrow be here with Mr. Petrie joins us, by the way. Didn't want to talk about it without our money man, but inflation jumped to about 4.2. That'll be the crux of our discussion tomorrow with our money man from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors, Daniel Petrie. In the meantime, let's take a quick time out. Come right back. You'll hear from the president on the Iranian situation on the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230, where we stream live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk.
Adaptive.
KERN. First Look with Scott Cox, mornings 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, our friend Rick Kreiser from Guitar Masters is coming by with our current Guitar Master. Wait till you get a load of this guy. We have the latest in state-of-the-art election results. That's all coming in. News, traffic, weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
The Kern Radio studios are powered by Adaptive Networks. Call them today at 661-241-0638. I hope you were with us about an hour or so ago when owner-operators Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstine joined us live in studio with one of their longtime clients, Mary Madland of Toyota Lyft. Mary's business is located at 4485 Buck Owens Boulevard, and she came in and gave a testimonial to the customer service, alacrity, and just competence of Ryan Van Alstine and his incredible company. In fact, Mary's been a client longer than Ryan has been married to Jennifer. He's known Mary longer than he's known Jennifer. And she absolutely extolled the virtues of being a client, as we have, because again, as I try to remind you, American General Media depends on Adaptive Networks for all of our IT needs, as you should as well. Call them today at 661-241-0638 or them online at adaptive-net.com.
Look, folks, you already know that your garage door is a very important part of your home, from the overall look of the place to the safety and security it provides. So obviously, you should only trust the service, repair, and maintenance of your garage door to the pros at King Door Company. Their skill and product knowledge are unmatched in the industry, and that's no accident. The techs at King Door are rigorously trained at the King Door Academy. That's right. King Door has an in-house training facility to make sure your job is done right on the first try. They're trained in all the latest equipment, tools, and techniques. They even learn how to listen to customer concerns through role-playing exercises. And you'll see how well all this training works when they show up right on time in fully stocked service trucks with all the parts and equipment to service or repair any garage door. Like I said, your garage door is a very important part of your home, so leave it to the pros at King Door Company. Schedule your appointment today at kingdoor.com. King Door Company, the company with the pride of a lion.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing
Recorded off
aids.
my television.
Believe how my hearing and life changed. Join over 1 million
I just
happy
turned it up
customers
really
by
loud.
going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIE.
I can't hear you.
You could try.
Yeah, I would just turn it up really loudly.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically that should work. I just don't know how it'll sound.
It's just a great compilation. I got to play that tomorrow.
If you got it at the house, then try it. Send it to me. See if it works, and if it does, we'll play it. But
That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. Do it before the next headline, not after. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Hey, it's JR Flores.
We don't have
Catch my
anything
show, The
Friday
JR
at
Show,
4:30, do we?
starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his kin. They would like to thank you all for kindly dropping in. You're all invited back next week to this locality to have a heaping helping of the hospitality. That is, take your shoes off. Take your shoes off. Y'all come back now. You hear? You should see the video. It's even better. It's an old. This is done years after the Beverly Hillbillies. That's the actual band. That's Earl Scruggs, and they were regulars on the show. Some of y'all know it was Earl Scruggs and somebody call the show. Earl Scruggs and whatever, and that's them, much older. And then about halfway through the song, here comes an. Oh, what are you laughing at?
Technically, you.
What? Why? What was wrong?
The video. I have your stream up right now, and I'm watching you dance. And I said, "Oh God!" I just realized how funny that looked.
Well, that's country music, Dad. And then Barnaby Jones. I actually said Barnaby Jones. Buddy Ebsen, who played Barnaby Jones, one of my dad's favorite shows. The only thing that impressed my dad is that I went to high school with Cliff Martin, who was Quinn Martin's son, and because my dad was a huge Cannon guy, which Quinn Martin produced, Cliff Martin's dad. All those CBS investigative shows, Quinn Martin did them all. You know how you could always tell it was a Quinn Martin production? Because he would play it like a play. Like, remember, I'm talking to old people now. Like, literally, you got to be 55 plus to remember this. We remember the FBI with Ephraim Zimbalist Jr.? Every Quinn Martin produced show had scene 1, scene 2, scene 3. Remember that? Except for Barnaby Jones. I don't think they did that with Barnaby Jones, but he did that with, I think, Cannon, which was my dad's favorite show. We used to call my dad Cannon before he lost a little weight because my dad looked like Cannon for a little bit. He loved Buddy Ebsen and Barnaby Jones. He loved the FBI, and there was one more. What was that fourth CBS show that he did? Cannon, Barnaby Jones, FBI, and there was one more, but I can't remember. But yeah, in that video of Earl Scruggs and something flat Earl Scruggs, and this is gonna bug me. Hey Siri, show me Earl Scruggs. Please stand by.
Earl Eugene Scruggs was an American musician noted for popular.
But who was his partner? You got to say in his bio who his partner was. Come on. And somebody's yelling at the radio, I know. A banjo, Earl Scruggs. Scruggs played Bill Monroe's Old Bluegrass and Blue Mountain Country. Lester Flatt and Earl Scruggs. Yes. And they were cousins of the Clampetts. And they would drop in every now and then. And they had really two young, good-looking wives. You remember that? Like really like hot, like crazy hot wives. And Earl Scruggs and Lester Flatt were not very attractive looking men, but they were musicians. So of course they have beautiful wives. Musicians, athletes, politicians all have beautiful wives. They all do. But just a little sentimentality, going back just a little bit. 842-5376. God dang it, I didn't get to play the Trump audio. We will do that after the break. Talk a little bit more about the Iranian situation. I would love to hear from you guys because I know it's almost un-American to be as concerned or doubtful about a situation like this. And this truly is, as critical as I've been, this is truly the first time that I just don't see an off-ramp. I just don't. I do not believe the Iranians are just going to hand over our uranium. I don't see a scenario where we could ever possibly put boots on the ground in Tehran. And I don't see them making a deal. They have leverage. They now have a card. Isn't that what he told us? They don't have any cards? Well, they do now. You'll hear from the president when we come back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. I would stick around if you.
Iran, after President Trump warned that Tehran would pay the price for stalled negotiations.
Ooh, I love that.
The escalating attacks threatened to derail efforts to end the war. U.S. Central Command said in a social media post that the military was striking multiple targets in Iran, attacks that were in response to Iran's unwarranted and continued aggression. Chicago police are urging residents to come forward with any information about a cross burning in a public park. The burning of a cross is a historic symbol of hate and intimidation against Black Americans. However, the intent behind the fire Tuesday afternoon in Grant Park was still unclear. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 953 points. The Nasdaq dropped 509. More details at srnnews.com.
The following is a real Kern Radio. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. Democrat Javier Becerra, who was a former state attorney general and Biden administration health secretary, will face Republican commentator Steve Hilton in the general election for governor in November. The final results of the primary election were announced Tuesday by the Secretary of State's office. In the race for Congress District 22, incumbent Republican David Valadao will face progressive Democrat Randy Villegas in the general election. They beat out State Assembly member Dr. Jasmeet Baines. 3 possible new names for Cesar Chavez Elementary being considered by the Bakersfield City School Board are Harvest Valley, Mountain View, and Katherine Johnson Elementary. The board is expected to make their final decision June 23rd, and that will take effect in August. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey, it's that man again for Sangera Subaru. You know, the world's biggest tournament is here, and this summer, Sangera Subaru is bringing all the excitement home. So they're kicking it off with some incredible offers on new Subarus all month long. Right now, lease a 2026 Outback Premium CVT for $229 a month for 36 months and $5,014 due at signing. Plus, every Subaru comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive. So don't miss your chance to drive something new during soccer's biggest event of the summer going on right now at Sangera Subaru. So stop by, see my good friends Damon Culbertson and Hassan Levy, and test drive a brand new Subaru. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community. 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Bakersville Auto Mall.
Lease 2026 Subaru Outback Premium CVT with TSRP $37,287, $229 per month plus tax for 36 months. Total of lease payments $8,855, $5,014 total due at lease signing. Includes first month payment, excludes tax, title, license, and $85 document fee. Total lease cost $13,869, excludes tax fees, no security deposit. Lease based on 7,500 miles per year, 50 cents per mile over. Available to qualified customers through Subaru Motor Finance on approved credit. Expires June 30, 2026. Excludes optional equipment and dealer installed accessories. PIN number TY514370.
First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, our friend Rick Kreiser from Guitar Masters is coming by with our current Guitar Master. Wait till you get a load of this guy. We have the latest in state-of-the-art election results. That's all coming in. News, traffic, weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
And furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honeybees and snow white turtle doves. I like to teach the world to sing. Sing with me. Perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. A coat to keep it company. It's the real thing.
That's the way. Do you know the television significance of this beyond its premiere in 1970? Chris Burdick, your Q O the D.
Diversity on television?
I'll give you a clue.
Okay.
It was part of a very successful long-running series. I'll give you an even bigger clue. It was the climax to a long-running, successful cable series. Can you name said series? People are screaming at the radio.
Yeah, I don't know if I know this one.
Can I give him another clue, y'all? Let's try to give him another clue. I almost fired Maverick.
Oh, Maverick, I'm thinking right now is Top Gun. I know that's wrong.
Okay.
We're moving towards the same thing?
So who almost fired Maverick?
Oh.
Just talk it out to me. Who fired Maverick? Almost fired him. So what do I do? Do I let you lead the team and put my career at risk? Or do I leave you here and put the Flyers at risk? Captain, I think that's a rhetorical question. Who was that? We have to
Metcalf?
Huh?
Captain Metcalf? No.
Well,
Commander Metcalf.
who's the actor?
I'm scared?
No, that's the original. I'm talking about the latest.
Oh, we're talking about Maverick. That would be...
You don't remember that scene where he runs the route and he says, what do I do? Do I let you lead the team, put my career at risk? Or do I leave you here and let the Flyers at risk? And then he's about to talk, and then the Black Admiral says, I'm pretty sure that was a rhetorical question, Captain. You don't remember that scene?
Vaguely do now, yes.
Okay, so who fired him? Who was that?
Wasn't that John Hamm?
Okay.
John Hamm? What about John Hamm? You're leading me to water here, but I don't...
What's John Hamm's claim to fame? It ain't being the admiral in Top Gun Maverick. Come on, work with me. Work with me.
Mad Men?
Touchdown Raiders.
Oh, that was the ending to Mad Men?
Yes, he's a drunk. So he's a drunk. They try to get rid of him. He works out a way to come back to the company. He's straight for a little while. Then he gets drunk again. He goes off into a retreat. You think he's done. He sells his car. He goes off to a retreat. He does yoga, and then he comes up with this idea. And you're like, what's the idea? And the entire series ends with that 1970 commercial. Hit it again.
To buy the world a home.
And this is how Mad Men, the series, ended. And you're like, what? Don Draper came up with the Coke. The company came up with the Coke and buy. Don Draper is back. And that's why I was convinced. Sequel. I had it written. I'm telling you, I should be a playwright. This is wasting me. I am wasting my career. I should be a screenwriter. Here's my play for Mad Men 2. We pick it up. It's 1971. You can change all the attire because in Mad Men it's set in the 60s. And they've got the business suits and the skinny ties. Well, now it's 1971. I know a little bit about it. I was 9, but nevertheless. And now people are wearing bell bottoms. And Don Draper's a little older, and he's got to deal with these young hippies that are coming into the company. But they've got Coke. They've got Coca-Cola. And that's how you start the whole new series of Mad Men. And we're in a different decade in the 70s. And you just deal with, you could have 3. You could have him die in 5 years, because John Hamm is getting a little bit older. You could have him die. You could say that he's 55, 60 in the series, have him die 5 years into that series, and then recycle it again into like the 80s. Just saying. I should be in Culver City. I should be in Burbank. I should be in Glendale, writing in a small little room, making $15,000 a week. But I had melanin in my skin, and Gilbert Cates told me, go to college. You don't have a chance. You don't have a chance, Ralph. It's 87% unemployment for white folks. It's 94% unemployment for black folks. Don't do it, Ralph. Absolutely blew me away. Broke my heart. I was convinced I was going to be a Hollywood mogul, and a very important man told me, no, it's not going to happen for you, bro. And he was absolutely right. Meantime, back to the president. Again, I'm going to get this compilation for you and play it. And again, it gets back to my point that you have to play it straight. But the president said this today in the White House.
But we hit him hard yesterday, and we're going to hit him again hard today, in case you miss it, in case you don't turn on your television set. And we'll see what happens with the deal. We were really close to a deal, but they keep tapping us along. They keep playing us for suckers.
That is the first accurate, intelligent, and honest thing he has said in Epic Fury. They're playing us for suckers. Yes, Mr. President, yes, they are. Because as I just described, we won our freedom by doing what Vietnam did. Most small countries that are being David and the other countries being Goliath have used this strategy. It wasn't something that we created for the revolution. It was something that George Washington figured out based on history. They're across the Atlantic. We are a pain in the arse of King George. If we just hold out, they'll get annoyed with this and punt. What was that noise?
That was the computer. I apologize.
And some 250 years later, we're now the Goliath, and Iran is the David. And they are playing us for suckers. They're going to, as long as the president doesn't lower the hammer on these people, they're going to continue to negotiate. You hear what they want? They want $24 billion in frozen assets. And Barack Obama, as we all know, whether you like Trump or don't, you have to admit, even the most ardent MAGA supporters have to admit, Barack Hussein Obama is making flapjacks in the president's head. It's an old term for being in somebody's kitchen. He's in there making over easy eggs and bacon and pancakes and French toast. You know, you notice how anytime he brings up Barack Obama, which is amazing that he's still bringing up a president 3-4 terms away, but he says Barack Hussein Obama. My point being, his hands are tied because, from what I understand, there are members within the administration that would like to make a deal, but the deal that is plausible is too close to the JPOA deal that Obama made. Because I don't mind giving them money. I don't know about $24 billion. What do you think they're going to do with that money? What, do you think they're going to help the people that they help slaughter? That money is going into arms, into ballistic missiles, and to reenacting their nuclear situation. But if you believe the president, they can't do that because he told me on television that it's so buried underneath the ground that only China and us can get it out. Which, of course, let's be blunt. You really believe that? You really think that's the truth? Then why are we fretting with these people? If the uranium threat, if the nuclear threat is so buried under the ground that only we and China can get it, and we're monitoring it, well, unless the Chinese show up, then what are we worried about? You got to play it straight. He's saying 7 different things that all contradict one another. And when you hear this compilation, and I'm sure maybe you've heard it, and you've heard me talk about it, but to hear the president going all the way back to May, insisting that we're going to have a deal in 2 or 3 days, you just can't play it like that. Because even your most ardent supporters are going to grow weary, particularly given the fact that one of the main reasons I voted for Donald Trump was because he said, enough of this, enough of Iraq, enough of Afghanistan. We're not doing this anymore. Let them figure it out. Now, again, I don't want to be hypocritical because I did support this. The idea of finally doing something about this. I personally thought we were going to make a parking lot out of the place. I thought we would just overwhelm them. But as Howard told us, we may not even have the munitions to get it done. And what happens if China moves on Taiwan? Could we really fend off the Chinese? And I've always questioned and wondered, do we really even want to get into a situation with the Chinese over Taiwan? I don't know. I'm not smart enough to figure it out. But I do know this thing is being waged poorly. This has been my problem from the get-go. They're doing this haphazardly. They're doing this day to day. And I understand war changes from day to day, but your strategy shouldn't. There should be a beginning, a middle, and an end. And I don't think they had that in mind. How could they have gone into this not knowing that the very first thing they were going to do was close the Strait of Hormuz? There was no plan to counter that. It just seems incredibly haphazard to me. I don't know about y'all, but it just, for the first time, I am sincerely worried. Sincerely worried. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to meet Ellis Dean from the Morehouse School of Medicine. It's going to be a fun talk. I have never seen the School of Medicine. Or did I? Did I go by there? Did I go by Morehouse? No, I don't think I went by Morehouse when I was in Atlanta. My aunt lives out in northern Georgia. She lives about 20, 30 minutes outside of Atlanta. You guys should visit Georgia. You'd be shocked how rural Georgia is once you get outside of Atlanta. And once you get outside, and I'm talking about 15, 20 minutes. It'd be like going from here to like Delano and being like in a different county because it's just all trees and little winding roads. And it's just gorgeous. It really is. These old brick homes, because of the weather, old colonial style homes. It's just really, really just a gorgeous state. It really, really, truly is. Never been to Georgia. Stop thinking about going abroad. Go see our capital if you've never been there. Go see Atlanta. Go visit the South, not just New Orleans, not just Florida, but go see South Carolina. One of the hosts at Luigi's, her and her husband Phil, former police officer, they've fallen in love with Beaufort. I told her if we grow old together, we might be neighbors. That's where I think I'm going to end up in my 70s. Beaufort SC. Quick time out. We're coming right back. You're listening to the Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1230. And we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 90.
Messmaker?
You got one?
Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, our friend Rick Kreiser from Guitar Masters is coming by with our current Guitar Master. Wait till you get a load of this guy. We have the latest in state-of-the-art election results. That's all coming in. News, traffic, weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Every Thursday at 4:30, Daniel Petrie lightens up the broadcast with his incredible wit, pure intelligence, political knowledge, and obviously an absolute master of economics. That's why he's such an important cog on this broadcast. And you're going to hear him even on some of his off days when there are financial movements that we can't explain. We lean on my man from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. And of course, you know what they're all about. They're all about retirement. I've turned at least 3 or 4 different people on to Messmaker Petrie Wealth Advisors, and they could not be happier. You could be happy as well with your situation in terms of the fourth quarter in your life if you call 395-9400, 395-9400, the offices of Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice or a solicitation for advisory services by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Incorporated, DBA, Messmaker, and Petrie Wealth Advisors. The program host is a client and receives compensation and other financial benefits in connection with this advertisement, creating a conflict of interest. Experiences discussed may not be representative of other clients.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonials from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
And we're back.
And we're back.
California Fruit Depot.
Yes.
Rob and Bob here.
Rob and Bob.
Advertising for California Fruit Depot. We've told you in the past.
Yes.
If you want to go, Google them.
Yeah.
Go out to Red Bank Road. They've got free lemons,
Exit 119.
citrus, dates, date shakes, smoothies,
Free
lemonades.
parking.
So moving on.
Next topic.
California Fruit Depot has hired us, and now they are going to sponsor us. Our triumphant return back to the airwaves of Bakersfield.
Oh, nice. Yes.
You folks asked
We knew
for
it
it.
was coming. Thank you so much.
We're coming back.
Due to popular demand.
Our award-winning show will
Yep.
soon be gracing the airwaves of one of these stations.
The
And
Marconi, was it Emmy? What? Peabody.
I think it was a Marconi.
A Pulitzer.
Yes.
One of those.
One of those awards we were almost nominated for. So we're going to be back on the air.
Yep, back on the air.
Sponsored by Cal Fruit Depot, home
you.
of the navel orange,
And
orange
free-
juice,
All the lemons you can eat.
and free lemons.
Pick
Again,
'em.
come
Pick
back out and get the free lemons.
Yep.
Google us at calfruitdepot.com.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230.
of Congress today. Since she moved into Texas and represents parts of Houston, she was asked her opinion on the conviction and sentencing of young Carmelo Anthony. No, not that Carmelo Anthony. I said that just to piss somebody off in the chat room who said that they thought they're tired of me saying that. You should never say that, because now I'm going to say it even more. Not that Carmelo Anthony. Meantime, here is crazy ass lunatic. I don't know if she's stupid, because by definition, she passed the bar. She went to a very exclusive private school. But she's just not right. Here's Jasmine Conner.
He ended up hitting Alstine one time, and it was about where he hit him. One time, 2 inches. This wasn't someone who said, hey, let me stab you 5, 6, 7 times. And so when you're looking at the punishment range, there's a reason in Texas that it goes from 5 to 99 or life, because you are looking at how intentional, like how bad was this? 35 years for a kid who had decided to go under a tent that was not his team's tent as it was raining, and simply didn't want to be put out in the rain by some random kid that he didn't know who was larger than him. Listen, a lot of people don't know what it is to live as a Black person in this country. Just like you can give the benefit of the doubt to so many police officers when they go out and they shoot some Black unarmed person, even though they are trained. The fact that there was little to no mercy seen or humanity seen when this Black boy said that I was scared, or the fact that honestly anybody else who did something with such a small object, all I know is that it wasn't considered unlawful carrying of a weapon.
So if this were a white boy in his exact same position, you don't think he'd get a 35-year sentence?
I would guarantee you it wouldn't have happened. I don't even know if he would have been convicted, because if a white boy would have said that they were afraid of a Black boy, something tells me that that jury that didn't have any Black people on it, they would have believed him in his fear.
Well, there's so many different opinions on this case. I mean, even your Republican colleague, Randy Fine, I mean, he's saying that he should get the death penalty. Your take on that?
Again, racism.
Do you see why she's not running for Senate? See why she lost that Senate race? It's not as if he stabbed him more than once. Lady, he went rummaging through his bag and stuck a knife in a young boy's chest. If he's so stupid that he doesn't understand, you could take a pencil and impale somebody in the chest and kill them. The fact that it was raining, the fact that he didn't want to leave the tent, the fact that they were bigger than he was, has absolutely nothing to do with it. 2 teenagers who, if it were 1978, would have been rolling on the ground fighting. But it's the 21st century. And this kid went into a bag and got a 5-inch knife and stuck it in another human being's upper torso. And you think that's okay? And you think that if a white boy did this, that he wouldn't even get convicted? Come on. Maybe one of the reasons that white people are tired of this is because we do cry wolf way too often. There are times when police officers actually do shoot innocent Black people. You remember the officer who mixed up her apartment and she went into the wrong apartment and the brother was literally sitting in his easy chair eating a bowl of ice cream and she shot him down? It happens. It does happen. But what in the Sam Hill does that have to do with a teenage boy sticking a knife in a kid's chest? How does a teenager even do that? And you're willing to say that if it were a white boy sticking a knife in a Black kid, he wouldn't have even been convicted. every time it seems that we're moving forward, we have opportunists like Jasmine Crockett who pull us backwards. This is insane. And it's karma is a son of a gun. What if that were your son, Jasmine, who fell into the arms of his twin brother with a knife sticking out of his chest that punctured his heart? You'd want just a 5-year sentence for the guy that killed your son, right, Jasmine? This is insanity. And it is opportunists like Jasmine Crockett who want to perpetuate the division between the races so she can stay in a comfortably African-American district and keep her gig. It's that simple. This woman is a lawyer, and she's trying to insist that if a white child had done that to a black child, he might not have even been convicted, let alone got a 35-year stint. Now, was I shocked when I heard 35 years? Yeah, I was. There are some people that have told me that in Texas, because he was 17 at the time, he's 19 now, the suspect or the convicted killer, that even though they try them as adults, that it'll only do half his sentence. Whatever it is, his life is ruined. And it's because of him. It's not because of his race. It's not because of the race of the victim. It's because a young 17-year-old that'll make you cry, his future was so bright, with a 3.75 GPA, grasping the idea that his magic bullet to get him out of Frisco, Texas, was education. And he made a horrendous mistake that has ruined his life, ruined the life of his family. As they hauled him off to jail yesterday, you know what he said to his mother and father? "I'm sorry I ruined your life." And he's exactly right. He'll do 15, 17 years. He's not going to do 35 years. But his life's over, as he knows it, obviously. But to hear a lawyer, a member of Congress, say that this was essentially a lynching is amazing to me. And why we'll never get along. We'll never get along. Not for a long, long time. Not in my lifetime. Quick time out. We'll meet Ellis Dean right after these important words.
Kern Radio, AM 1230, KERN. 96.1 FM, K241 Bakersfield, an American General
Back to
Media
Lawson's
station.
tonight.
This hour
I've
from
been there
Town
in a while.
Hall, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Inflation hits a 3-year high, highlighting affordability challenges for Americans. Correspondent Bernie Bennett reports.
Rising gas prices pushed inflation to its highest level in 3 years last month, a headache for the Federal Reserve and a potential political challenge for the Trump administration as midterm elections near. Labor Department said Wednesday that consumer prices rose 4.2% in May from a year earlier, up from 3.8% in April, and the third straight increase. On a monthly basis, prices rose 0.5% last month after big gains of 0.6% in April and 0.9% in March. Bernie Bennett, Washington.
Southern Baptists move to ban women pastors.
Thousands of Southern Baptists overwhelmingly voted on a 3-1 margin to advance a formal ban on women pastors in the nation's largest Protestant denomination. The vote on the amendment easily exceeds the required 2/3 majority. A similar 2/3 vote is required at next year's meeting to become part of the Southern Baptist Constitution. While the SBC can't tell its self-governing churches what to do, it does have the power to expel churches from convention membership, declaring them not in friendly cooperation. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The U.S. military began another round of strikes against Iran after President Trump warned that Tehran would pay the price for stalled negotiations. The escalating attacks threatened to derail efforts to end the war. U.S. Central Command said in a social media post that the military was striking multiple targets in Iran, attacks that were in response to Iran's unwarranted and continued aggression. It was a rough day on Wall Street as the Dow plunged 953 points, the Nasdaq dropping 509, the S&P lower by 119. More at townhall.com.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven you can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted, it works. It's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
FIFA President Johnny.
Hey,
From
what
the
are you doing here?
KERN Newsroom, your
Good.
live news
How you
update.
doing? Alstine. Nice to meet you,
Police
sir.
on Country Place Lane.
Okay.
I'm Chris Davis. That's in Southwest Bakersfield, and police did confirm that they were at a house there this morning, and a lot of cops were out there, but they had not made it clear exactly why. But that police presence was affecting traffic, so they were asking people to stay out of the area if possible. In the race for governor of California, the top two candidates are a Democrat and a Republican. Former Secretary of Health for the Biden administration and a former state attorney general, Javier Becerra, will face Republican commentator Steve Hilton in the results that took a little more than a week to count. Both men beat out Democrat Tom Steyer, who spent millions on his campaign but came in third.
What are you afraid of?
Incumbent Republican David Valadao will face progressive Democrat Randy Vallejos in the general election in November in the race for U.S. House District 22. The final results in that race from the Secretary of State's office came after more than a week of counting. Valadao got just over 40% of the vote, and Vallejos got about 32%, with State Assembly member Dr. Jack Baines getting 27%. Some of the possible new names being considered for Cesar Chavez Elementary School include Harvest Valley, Mountain View, and Katherine Johnson Elementary. Those names were some of the ones that were discussed last night at the board meeting for the Bakersfield City School Board, which decided to rename the school after sexual abuse accusations against Chavez came out this spring. The final decision is expected to be made June 23rd, and the changes would take effect in August. Many of the community members and board members believe that the new name should still honor the legacy of farm workers in the community.
That's what brought me here.
I'm Chris Davis in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
I think I know where you are. Is there a restaurant called?
To the restaurant in a month from now, Hollywood Big Shot's going to give you what you want.
I was on my little haunt.
Start shooting in a week. I'm going to make him an offer again.
The Ralph Bailey Show. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
And I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Wednesday, 10th day of June. Still lots to do in the final hour. We will preview Knicks Spurs tonight. Must win for the Spurs. Can they come back 3-1? LeBron did it. It can be done. You go back to San Antonio, it's down 3-2, and then essentially you're facing Game 7 at Madison Square Garden. You win that, and now you're truly facing Game 7, but you're in Texas. They could come back 3-1, but they need to win tonight. And after what I watched happen in New York City, I was pulling for the Knicks. I used to live in New York. I really was. My dad was a Knicks fan. But no. Mobs beating up people wearing San Antonio gear. Yeah. Tearing their jerseys off. No, I'm a Wemby guy now. I'm sorry. We'll talk about that. Restate our top story of the day. We'll get you through some of the elections. They are final. Steve Hilton has made it, the lone Republican. Going to be taking on Javier Becerra. We'll get into that. And I've got some more audio on the Carmelo Anthony situation. No, not that Carmelo Anthony. Just a tragic story out of Frisco, Texas, where a young African American was sentenced to 35 years after a tete-a-tete with a young African American man. But we're talking about something much, much brighter and much more uplifting. As you that are watching on YouTube can see, to my left is my somewhat colleague, or really kind of my boss, Lenina Andrews. She is the Executive Director of Marketing and Communications at Bakersfield College. And Ellis Dean. Ellis is the Marketing and Communications Manager for the More in Common Alliance. He's going to explain that. Welcome to the Ralph Bailey Show. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You see that M on his shirt? That's the Morehouse Medical School. I just found out something. Morehouse Medical School's colors are not the maroon and white of Morehouse College.
That's correct.
That is interesting.
We're blue and white.
Yeah,
we're blue and white. So
that
yeah,
is interesting.
So the More in Common Alliance basically is a partnership between Morehouse School of Medicine and Common Spirit Health, which is the parent hospital for Dignity Health or Bakersfield Memorial here locally. A couple of years ago, right before the pandemic.
Back up just a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Just a little bit, right there.
We, our CEO, Dr. Montgomery Rice, and the then Common Spirit CEO, Lloyd Dean, decided they wanted to do something about the healthcare provider shortage, because by 22, we're expected to have a shortage of about 30,000 healthcare providers around the nation.
Yeah.
And so they formed an organization called the More in Common Alliance, which the more comes from Morehouse and the common comes from Common Spirit. And we wanted to do something about it. So we decided we're going to recruit, educate, and train the next generation of healthcare providers that will mirror the communities we serve. And that is what we're here talking about today, because the program that we're launching starting at Bakersfield College is the Kern AUCC Health Scholars Pathway. And basically what that is we have recruited some local students here in Kern County to start their education journey at Bakersfield College. So they'll do 2 years at Bakersfield College. Then after that, they'll come to Atlanta and finish their undergraduate degree at one of the 3 AUC schools, which is Spelman, Morehouse, Clark Atlanta. They get to choose. And then after they finish their 4-year degree.
They would certainly choose Morehouse. I mean, that's
you have a little bias. I'm just saying, you have a little bias.
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
Clark Atlanta.
It could, but that'd be a silly decision.
And then after they finish their 4-year degree, hopefully at Morehouse, they'll come over to Morehouse School of Medicine and start medical school. Because we've already launched some residency programs here locally at Bakersfield Memorial, they will be able to do their residency here locally and then hopefully stay here and practice. So they'll be from here, come back, and practice here to serve this community.
One thing I should note, Morehouse College is not an exclusively African-American school. Obviously, it's known as an historically Black college, and it's among a number of HBCUs. There are white kids that I went to school with in the 80s. In fact, we made big news. I think it was about 6 years ago. Our valedictorian was a Caucasian man.
Right.
Am I lying?
You're not lying. We have a congressman in the state of Georgia that went to, and he's white, and he went to medical school at Morehouse School of Medicine.
Yeah.
And he was the class president when he was there.
Yeah.
He just spoke at our recent graduation ceremony. Yeah. So yeah, the myth about HBCUs, which is funny because I went to an HBCU. I went to Florida A&M University.
Nice.
And HBCUs have never had any racial or ethnic exclusivity. We're called HBCUs because historically we were Black, and we were mostly founded to educate Black students. We never said, oh, you can only be Black to come here. Right. And it's always been that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So explain how the program works, because the goal is to try to get those kids ensconced in our community and become doctors here in Kern County.
That's correct. So again, the part about mirroring the community, the best way to do it is to get people from that community to do it. And so what we did is Nina and her team did a wonderful job of recruiting, letting the schools know. We worked with the Kern County Schools, Superintendent of Schools. So there's been a lot of partners that came into this. We started this,
So 2 years ago or so, right? This is something that was birthed many before I arrived at BC. And I had the privilege of traveling to Atlanta, where I met him for the first time last September, where I think we were at pretty much the end stages of creating what this pathway is going to look like. But it's definitely a long time in the coming. And now we are at the point where we're ready to have our first cohort start. And they're going to be starting this coming Monday.
Wow.
So tomorrow is going to be the big day where we basically pin them and say, hey, you are a part of this cohort, this team, this effort, this collective effort between the Morehouse School of Medicine and Bakersfield College and all those in between, where we are going to go forth and set you out into our community to come back, where you can serve your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, so that the families will feel
your
comfortable,
classmates,
going back to see you. They see a familiar face. And that's what it's all about. It's about helping our students, one, not just go to college, but have the support. And that's what this program is all about. It's so, yes, there are some students that, go to BC. We have one that's gone to BC.
Shout out to Patricia.
Yes. And she ended up going to another university here in the state of California. And then, of course, getting accepted into the Morehouse School of Medicine program. And that is amazing. She did it on her own. And what we thought was, well, what if you had the support to back you? How many more students can become the next Patricia, right? But in their own right. And so the way that this is designed is to create not just a pathway, but a pathway of support, a foundation that we give them so that when they go over there, when you go on a cohort, I don't know if you've ever been a part of a cohort, but you have basically instant friends, right? You don't have to look for it. When you go to Atlanta, you have that family away from family because it's hard to leave your family, right? But you not only have that support, but you have that camaraderie that's needed when you have those difficult moments. So, I mean, and that's what this program is about. It's about not just creating a pathway from, and this is unheard of, community college, right? This is not something that happens. They're going to go to community college at BC and they're going to go at no cost. Right? Because, being in the medicine is expensive when you try to go to school, right? So we're starting them off easier in the path of less money so they can build that savings, that financial savings, so they can take it with them when they go to the AUCC schools or even Morehouse School of Medicine. So they're decreasing the amount of debt, having the support, and going to eventually be able to come back and serve their community.
And while I did not graduate from Morehouse, I lived the Morehouse experience. And one of the great things that these kids are going to learn is the Atlanta University Center is its own little community within Atlanta. And they're going to have the camaraderie. They'll be interacting with Spelman. Even if they go to Clark, Atlanta, they'll have the interaction with Morehouse students. They'll have interaction with Spelman students. There'll be interaction with even Morris Brown students. It's really not in the AUC area, but it's around the corner. I mean, it is just a strictly collegiate little community within Atlanta.
I think, when people hear the AUC and it's like, when you go there, you'll really see how close they are to one another. They're not even across the street. It is, the buildings are right next to each other and you don't know. You may not know other than the color change that you're on Spelman's campus or on Morehouse campus. And then,
well, let's be honest, Spelman's a little bit nicer. a little bit nicer over there at the gates of Spelman.
Shout out to Camille Cosby.
And Oprah, and a lot of folks support the Rockefellers. Yes, sir.
They've got a long list of donors.
You walk on Spelman College and you think you were in Princeton. It is a beautiful, beautiful campus.
Yeah, you got to show your ID, your birth certificate.
That's right.
You got to give a blood sample to get on.
I've told them. And if you don't come back through the gates, they're going to come looking for you.
Yes, sir.
Dorm room by dorm room. Trust me. Okay, I'll come out of the closet. Come on, Ralph. Let's go. Get off campus. Just saying.
But no, it's wonderful. And Morehouse School of Medicine is right there on the edge, right? So like you said, Morris Brown's on the other side, and Morehouse School of Medicine is right there. So when I walk out of my office or if I look out my window, I see Spelman and Morehouse right there. So the students will have that opportunity. And we have systems at Morehouse School of Medicine that will be supporting the students while they're at the AUCC to get them prepared. Hey, here's what you need to be taking. We will take them through MCAT preparation courses, things of that nature to make them competitive so they can get right into medical school and not have to do, a 1-year kind of deferment to get in. Because we want them to get in and be successful.
Absolutely.
And the Patricias, and we've got another student that's coming from Bakersfield that's starting this fall. They were like Lewis and Clark, right? They did it on their own. They created the path. Now we just built a pathway to make it easier for more students to come from Kern County and become medical professionals and come back to serve, return to Kern, as we say, return to Kern.
I like that. I
and
like that.
serve this community.
Yeah. So even the pen that we're going to be giving them is going to have it's going to basically be a mini white coat. And it's going to have an R2K on it to return to Kern.
Right.
And so our president, Dr. Stacy Pfluger, and Dr. Kevin Smith from Morehouse School of Medicine will be bestowing them with that pen on tomorrow night. So it's going to be a fun time.
How many pins are we giving out? How many students are we talking about?
So right now we have 8 students. We started with a small
incredible.
cohort because we really want to make sure we get this right. This
Sure.
is very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we got them a lot of stuff. We were just in the office just
Man,
now
packing in,
right? The students are gonna love it. We got some great swag, and we're even giving them laptops.
Nice.
Laptops, yes. So it's
Why would you not jump at this opportunity?
And we've had some great financial donors that have come in to support the students because, again, we want to eliminate as much as a burden of getting through medical school as possible. And one of the biggest burdens is financial.
Yeah.
So when you have a community like Kern, we want to say, okay, no, there is a pathway for you to get there, and not just say, oh, okay, I can't do that. No, you can, and we're going to help you.
This is nothing short of remarkable. I mean, there are just so many different miracle connections and layers to this thing. I mean, a relationship with a community college, a major historically Black colleges, and a medicine school, all tied into one. Free education and an opportunity to become a physician, come back to your hometown and be the hometown doctor hero that you could do for 40 years.
Yes.
As a medical physician in your own hometown, it is nothing short of remarkable. It really is.
You know, I did the numbers when we had our residency celebration last summer here in Bakersfield, and I ran the numbers. A doctor over the course of a career, 30, 40 years, can see anywhere from 10 to 15,000 patients. So if you multiply that by 8, you're talking about 80,000, and that keeps growing because we're going to keep adding more residents to this area. Talk about creating a healthier community, and that lifts everybody in the community, not only just physically, but financially, because when you're healthy, you can do more and you can serve your community better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's absolutely incredible. Talking with Alstine and Lenita Andrews. Lenita, is there any way, I know you can help me book the guests, but I would love to have some of those students come in next Wednesday. Is that a possibility?
I can work on that and see what we can do.
Yeah. I mean, this is remarkable. And I think it's so fun to be a part of the launching of this thing, because in 10 years, everybody's going to be like, well, of course, we got to hook up with Morehouse Medical School. It's like, well, this was launched about 10 years ago. I see this thing thriving big time.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm excited because I always tell people I get to do the fun stuff, right? We'll let the instruction area and all the hard stuff.
Right.
I come in and it's like I look like Superwoman at this point, right? Because I got the swag ready for you. That's all the students see, right? They don't see that it probably came from someone else. It's like, woo,
Lydia gave me a computer.
Yes. Oh, she gave me a headshot.
Yeah.
Right. And they can put it on their social media accounts, so this is the fun part for me, right? I don't typically do these type of interviews. And I laugh and joke with Ellis when I said that, but it was like, this meant a lot to me because I get the opportunity to see students when they start out. They're nervous, right? And they're thinking, oh, can I do this? Yes, you can. And you will.
Yeah.
Go
3,000 miles away from home.
Exactly.
They've probably never been to.
Yeah.
But that's why I think the AUC comes in. Because
they'll be
adopted.
That's part of the program.
Oh, is that right?
Is that while they're here in Bakersfield College over the summer, they get to next summer they'll be coming to to Atlanta for a week.
Good.
To acclimate them.
Yeah,
right? So
absolutely.
Again, that's part of that pathway. We do not want to disrupt that. And sight unseen, going to a city across the country, that could be a little unnerving for an 18 or 19-year-old. So if we do it early enough, we acclimate them, they see how Atlanta works and get used to it, they're more apt to continue and finish.
And I think going there will inspire them because the AUC, I mean, you just see all of these just studious people with their heads down going to class. I ain't got time. I'm going to my lecture. And it's just, it is a thriving community.
It has an energy.
It does.
It has
truly
its own
does.
energy. And what I found to be most remarkable was like last September to have leaders from all 5 institutions that are part of this get into a room and leave their egos at the door.
Yeah.
And let's make this work.
Yeah.
Let's make these curricula line up, and how can we put this together so these students can get through? That was nothing short of amazing, because it's real hard to get leaders in the same institution to agree, but to get 5 institutions and have leaders sit down and say, yes, this will work. That was wonderful.
And at the end of the day, the ultimate winners is our community.
Yes.
Because these kids are coming back and trying to fill that gap that we're going to see over the years of providing health care for Kern County. Ellis, really nice meeting you, man. Keep this great work up. Lenina, thank you for all your help. It was amazing. I was shocked when I saw you sitting here. She doesn't want to do it. She's like, no, here you go.
Well, Morehouse has some online classes. You want to go ahead and finish?
Don't even start. Don't even start.
We got you, brother.
Ellis Dean, Lenina Andrews, everybody.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys. Take a quick time out. We'll come right back, see what's on the board. We'll get into Knicks Spurs tonight. Game 4, big game for San Antonio.
Knicks in 6.
Oh, Lord. We got one of them. You got any orange and black on? Well, she's got the orange.
I got the orange, though, but.
All right. Quick time out. We'll come right back. Don't go anywhere. That was great. That was really cool. That was very, very good. Thank
Kern
you.
Radio, News Talk 96.1.
Always good to see you, young woman. Thank you so much. Yeah, if we
KRN.
get those kids in there, that'd be
First
great.
Look with Scott Cox.
I mean, at any time. We don't
6
do
to
it next
9
week.
a.m.
At any time this summer.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, our friend Rick Kreiser from Guitar Masters is coming by with our current Guitar Master. Wait till you get a load of this guy. Latest in state-of-the-art election results. That's all coming in. News, traffic,
you know
weather.
best.
It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230.
Are you staying for a while? You in town?
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
Good.
You know what I
Well,
forgot
let
to
me
bring up?
take you to
Steve
dinner
Hilton?
next time you're in town.
Have you all seen the brilliant
All right,
ad
very
that
good.
he did with
Yeah, absolutely. Take
Cassie
care, guys.
Biddle, owner-operator, KC Steakhouse? In fact, Mr. Hilton was sitting at my chair at the bar in the ad, but that's beside the point. It's a brilliant ad, and who better to go to than a woman who is so ensconced in our community. She's part of the planning commission. She sat in for me Friday, and she runs an 89-year-old restaurant. It is one of the most iconic restaurants in all of Kern County. She's just absolutely fantastic. And all I'll say about Cassie Biddle is please stand by for some future excursions on her part. But in the meantime, where would you rather be than 2515 F Street in the capable hands of an incredible staff? Best steak in town. Go next door to the Speakeasy Like Bar, the Stockyard. Haley's
And I
there
noticed
Thursday,
that
Fridays, and Saturday
mine
nights.
runs
Lottie's there
exclusively
providing
on
music. And of
Scott
course,
Show.
Jimmy and Bobby are in the main restaurant
Like it used to
Tuesday
be me
through
and
Saturday.
JR.
Where would you
Now
rather
it's
be than
exclusively
on F
just
Street
mine.
at KC Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey.
Did you really think Pure Talk was just going to sit back and watch
Well, who
America
uploads
turn
mine? Do you upload mine?
250 years old without doing something awesome to celebrate?
Well, the one that
course
ran
not.
this morning was
That's why they're
the,
raising
if Steve Hilton gets in, if
$250,000
Prater gets
for
in.
America's Warrior Partnership by the end of July. America's Warrior Partnership is on the front line of preventing veteran suicide. They've had extraordinary success. And here's how you
Is
can help.
is
When you
the
switch your
Claude
cell
Lemieux
phone
one still
service to
running?
Pure Talk this month, you'll be invited to round up to support America's Warrior Partnership. No pressure, but if you do,
So what are the three
Pure
that are
Talk
running?
will match your
The
donation
Hilton?
dollar for dollar. And to further celebrate 250 years of our extraordinary democratic republic, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. That's pound 250, say Mike Rowe. And happy birthday to us.
Step into the spotlight at the all-new and always thrilling Hard Rock Casino Tejon, just 15 miles south of Bakersfield. Play your favorites across over 2,000 slot machines, plus baccarat, blackjack, roulette, and craps. And with Unity, whatever you do, you get rewarded. Play here and redeem at other Hard Rock properties. Enjoy live entertainment, exceptional dining, and energy only Hard Rock can deliver. Hard Rock Casino Tejon. It all happens here. Must be 21 or older. Concerned about your gambling? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
In 2026, Bay Alarm celebrates 80 years of security. For the Central Valley, that means local service including burglar and fire alarm systems, 24/7 in-house monitoring, and custom security designed to work with business operations. Bay Alarm has real people rooted in your community looking out for your business. After 8 decades and 3 generations of family ownership, our promise is still the same. We got you. Learn more at bayalarm.com.
Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
I want to thank Ellis Dean and Lenina Andrews. Truly is an amazing. Let me change that camera. Hang on a second. Just hold on a little second there. Change the camera for you. All right. I was saying it truly is an amazing program when you think about they're providing free junior college education for these kids. They're going to take them to one of the most exciting cities in the planet, Atlanta, Georgia, as I was just describing how beautiful the state is. And it's not as if they're just dumping them in Atlanta at a college. Like Emory University is kind of outside Atlanta, and Georgia Tech is in a business area, but it's kind of isolated. Morehouse and Spelman are literally, I could literally tee up a golf ball on the campus of Morehouse College and hit Spelman with one of my drives. And at 63, I'm hitting it about 210, 215, 220. I'm hitting my drivers about as far as I used to hit my 3-wood. But that's how close they are. They're literally across the street. And Clark, Atlanta University used to be the grad school, and Clark was an independent school. And I think the grad school just kind of went out of business, and Clark was having its financial problems. So why not combine? So now that's one large school, Atlanta Clark University. And they're situated in kind of a triangular deal where Morehouse is here, Atlanta Clark is here, and Spelman is over here. And they are literally all within hundreds of yards of each other. I mean, if you live on campus, you don't need a vehicle. They have Atlanta has a great rapid transit system, which is why I don't understand how they have rapid transit in San Francisco, New York, and Atlanta. We just can't figure it out in LA. But they have what's called the MARTA, the Metropolitan Atlanta Rapid Transit Administration, and it's kind of like a subway, an underground subway that can get you all over the city. I didn't have a car for my first 2 years in Atlanta, but got around fine. And I'm not the brightest bulb in the where are bulbs? Not the brightest bulb in the cabinet?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm making up cliches, but it really is an awesome program. And again, like I said, it's going to benefit this community. I can't wait to see this thing get up on its feet. Quick time out, back half of the hour. I'd stick around if I you.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Don't know how I'm going to get my steps in for the rest of the week.
I'm Keith Peters in Washington.
94 is like pleasant.
A lapse in a law that allows the U.S. to gather intelligence abroad has grown more likely as President Trump is resisting calls from Republicans and Democrats on Capitol Hill to immediately name a permanent director of national intelligence. Mr. Trump has doubled down on his temporary pick to lead the intelligence agency's federal housing finance regulator, Bill Pulte. The U.S. military said Wednesday it began another round of strikes against Iran after President Trump warned that Tehran would pay the price for stalled negotiations. The escalating attacks threatened to derail efforts to end the war. U.S. Central Command said in a social media post that the military was striking multiple targets in Iran, attacks that were in response to Iran's unwarranted and continued aggression. More details at srnnews.com.
Tell them we went a little longer with the Morehouse.
There's a moment nobody talks about.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN. Headlines from the KERN newsroom.
I'm Chris Davis. Bakersfield police were asking people to stay away from Country Place Lane in Southwest Bakersfield this morning, saying they were at a house there and it was causing some delays. They did not explain exactly what was going on. Democrat Javier Becerra, who is a former state attorney general and Biden administration health secretary, will face Republican commentator Steve Hilton in the general election for governor in November. The final results of the primary election were announced Tuesday by the Secretary of State's office. In the race for Congress, District 22, incumbent Republican David Valadao will face progressive Democrat Randy Vallejos in the general election. A man was hit on Golden State Avenue last night about 10:20. Bakersfield police say the person who hit him stayed and cooperated with them. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. KERN.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Dr. Roland Rodriguez.
Hello, this is Bakersfield General Surgeon Dr. Roland Rodriguez, client and friend of Mr. Paul Sheldon. It is my great pleasure and privilege to relate to all of you my absolute exemplary experience with Team Paul Sheldon. I have also referred a number of my colleagues to Paul Sheldon's office, only to receive the most stellar feedback from my doctor friends regarding the office's expert navigation through the complex maze that is Medicare. And even though Paul Sheldon himself is now facing some temporary health challenges, his longstanding and most experienced and expertly trained team of ladies, Christine, Kelly, and Lynn, continue to masterfully guide the clients through the complicated world of Medicare. You most definitely could not possibly do any better than to reach out to Paul Sheldon several months before turning 65. Thank you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
You got it?
First Look with Scott Cox, morning 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Thursday edition of the First Look program, our friend Rick Kreiser from Guitar Masters is coming by with our current Guitar Master. Wait till you get a load of this guy. We have the latest in state-of-the-art election results. That's all coming in. News, traffic, weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Hey, it's JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, starting at 1 p.m. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
Who let the dogs out? That lead in music can mean only one thing. Our good friend Zach Scout from Marley's Mutts is on the line. Zach, what's really going on?
Let's go, baby. I was hoping I'd get a song playing.
How you doing, man? Let me first start. The reason we don't have you in studio today is because you teach a class up at a prison. Tell us about that.
Yeah, man. I teach a couple of classes. The class we have on Wednesdays from 3 to 5 is called Peer to Peer. And what we're working on is sobriety in there. So we have 16 mentors and 16 mentees up on the maximum security yard, Alpha Yard. And we are working for 16 weeks towards understanding sobriety, working the steps, relapse prevention, all sorts of things associated with sort of approaching sobriety, attempting sobriety, and then following through with sobriety. So we had a couple of my dogs in there, my Cora Rose, my two-legged poodle, who I believe you've met.
I have.
And then my foster dog, Coconut. And so, yeah, we have our second to last class was today. And then I also teach a class there with Cassidy, our dog trainer, called Positive Change, which we teach on Charlie Yard and Alpha Yard on Tuesdays, where we graduate a couple of dozen student trainers who are rehabilitating shelter dogs in the prison for a 3-month period. So they're both incredibly fulfilling programs and both kind of serve a bit of a different purpose. One is to rehabilitate rescue dogs from the shelter and turn our student trainers into trainers. And then the other program is to achieve sobriety.
Yeah, that's outstanding. You're dealing with some pretty serious criminals up there, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a very interesting group of individuals. The reason I love working in that prison is because they're all very hungry for change. A lot of these guys, most of them have been locked up since they were teenagers.
Yeah.
The typical sort of student we have is someone who was convicted of a usually gang-associated loss of life crime when they were in their teens or early 20s. Some of them were children when they, participated in their crime or when the crime they went to prison for. And a lot of them are really looking for a way up, and there aren't a lot of programs in maximum security prisons. There are very, very few. So these guys are really on the path to try to improve themselves, try to kind of showcase their humanity for themselves, for their families, and try to find a way up and out of prison and towards redemption.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Good on you,
Yeah, we've
man.
actually graduated. We have 17 close to 1,700 students over the last 11 years. and nearly 1,000
1,700?
dogs.
1,700.
Mm-hmm.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
That
We've
really
operated
is.
programs at Corcoran State Prison, North Kern, Wasco State Prison, Tehachapi, Cal City, Victorville. Juvenile justice, we had the only program of its kind where rescue dogs lived with incarcerated girls at the Juvenile Justice Center. That was run through probation. We did that for 6 years. It was an incredible program. Probation really stepped up for us there. All the folks at Kern County Probation are really forward thinking when it comes to programming and trying to serve those girls.
That's incredible. Talking with Zach Scout from Marley's Mutts. What else is going on?
Well, I just returned to Marley's Mutts. I've been away for a year and a half. I had stepped away because I really didn't feel like the organization was being stewarded correctly, and we had a lot of issues that our sort of ethos had diverted from one another. And the organization asked for me back a couple of months ago, that they were in a really difficult spot and wanted to try to save the organization and kind of put its oxygen mask on. So I came back a couple of months ago, and we've just been working really hard to update the organization. We've rebuilt the board. We've rebuilt the executive staff. We've kind of really just focused on what got us here. Like, as you remember the early days, Ralph, Marley's Mutts was very much a community organization where we were always out there in the community, and we kind of lost some of that focus. And so my purpose in coming back to the organization is to reestablish us as a community-centered organization that really serves Kern County, both through the work we're doing rescuing dogs and people, but also socioculturally, putting out into the world the importance of rescue work, the importance of redemption, the importance of trying to really kind of live like Christ, to be honest, Ralph, like to support the incarcerated, to believe in others, and to try to offer a hand up where you can.
That's incredible. That really is. Talk to new members of our community and tell them what Marley's Mutts is all about.
Well, Marley's Mutts was founded by myself in 2009. I was coming out of acute liver failure, so I needed a liver transplant in order to survive. I spent a long time at Bakersfield Memorial Hospital, essentially dying. And in that pursuit to try to qualify for a liver transplant, I started fostering dogs again and really taking the energy off of myself and all the crap I was dealing with and focusing it on the dogs really helped save my life. And by the time I achieved 6 months of sobriety, which qualified me for a transplant, my body had begun to heal, and I no longer needed a transplant. And my community said, up here in Tehachapi, everyone said, hey, you should do this. You should start an animal rescue organization. And they just kept pushing me to do so. And we generated a lot of foster homes. We were able to purchase our ranch in 2017 up here in Tehachapi. And our focus is really to rescue euthanasia-listed dogs from Kern County Animal Services and the Bakersfield Animal Care Center. Dogs who, usually large, young dogs who don't have the skills to get adopted and stay adopted, and give them another lease on life. And then through the Positive Change program, we take a lot of those dogs, we bring them into prison, we have them live in prison for 3 months at a time. We go in every week to educate our student handlers. And we have just wonderful outcomes for both, where our dogs are finding forever homes and our student inmates are developing themselves from a workforce development standpoint, from a sobriety standpoint. We now have 27 formerly incarcerated students who are out here in the real world doing kennel work, training work. They're entrepreneurs and small business owners. So it's really been a productive program for us. And yeah, Marley's Mutts has really just been kind of like of the people of Kern County since we started. We move dogs from Kern County with a bunch of our volunteers. We have a bus and a van that Motor City has helped us out with. John Petrie at Motor City's been incredible.
Love him.
Almost since our inception. He's the best.
Yeah, he is.
Motor City, a lot of people don't realize what Motor City does under the radar to help smaller organizations and community organizations, but he's just been a godsend.
Absolutely. And I've known Jimmy Cisneros since he was about 15 years old, the general manager out there for John
That's
Petrie.
awesome.
Yeah, he's a great
They're
kid.
great people.
They really are. They really are. Great kid.
Yeah.
Can I take a personal note? I have a friend, a fairly close friend, who is suffering from cirrhosis. Talk about your process. And did you get the transplant, or did you just get better?
No, I did it. Yeah, what happened was I got it transferred from Bakersfield Memorial after spending 6 weeks there, just dying of liver failure. I was diagnosed with end-stage cirrhosis of the liver, which usually means you either pass away or you get a liver transplant. When I got admitted to the transplant program at Cedars-Sinai, they sent me home. They said, look, if we keep you here, you're going to pass away. I had become addicted to drugs in the hospital, morphine and Dilaudid. So when they sent me home, it was really crunch time. I had to try to achieve 6 months of sobriety. And when I got home, I changed everything about what went into my body. I started drinking these vegetable smoothies every single day. I started a strict diet, and I just started to move. Started to walk with the dogs first, then to hike. Then I began to run. All the fluid came off my body. I had a catheter in my back. This huge 9-month pregnant swollen belly. But the thing that did it for me was, participating in programs and 12-step programs and changing everything that I put into my body. I've been sober now for almost coming up on 18 years. And really just being very conscious of what I put in my body and to also be of service. The thing that really helped me to take my mind off my own suffering and my own struggle was to go be of service to others. And that's been really the roadmap forward for me.
Yeah. And you've done some incredible work. You truly have. And I'm glad to see you back with Marley's Mutts where you belong. And I'm sure you've gotten things straightened out up there. That's good to hear. It really, really
we have
is.
really tried hard. Jessica, our executive director, is doing a great job. We have a all new board who are really working hard to stabilize us. We had a great Give Big Kern, showing last month in May. And so we're just on the way up. We've got a volunteer day this weekend on Saturday up at the ranch from 10 to 2. So if you're interested, just go to marleysmutts.org/volunteer and you can sign up to come to the volunteer day and meet Cora and walk some of our dogs and eat some pizza and donuts. And we're also going to be honoring Bob Souza, who passed away recently, who ran the Tehachapi Wine and Cattle Company up here. He and his wife have been tremendous supporters. So we're wanting to honor him as well.
No, it's outstanding. That really is. That's very, very cool. Well, you've done, again, remarkable work. Keep up the great work. And anytime you got something going on, give me a call. And if you're in town, just come on by 1400 Easton, Suite 134. We'd love to have you in studio.
Hey, man, you've always been here for me. I really appreciate you so much, man. Onwards and upwards.
No problem, Zach. Love you, man. Love what you're doing. Keep it up, Pop.
Love you too, bud.
All right, take care, buddy. Zach Scow. Wow. Yeah, I've got a friend. Obviously, I'm not going to name him. And I think he listens to the show on occasion. But I learned that he's going through this. And it's good to hear that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. Final timeout of the night. Nick Spurs underway yet?
I believe so.
Big game tonight. I got the Spurs. I should have said the Knicks, though, huh? I just mushed the team that I'm rooting for. I might have. I might have just mushed the Spurs. Oh, Lord. But they can come back 3-1. 3-1 is doable.
You know what?
3-1 is
that's what they
doable.
need. Maybe that's what they need is a mushing.
Yeah.
Maybe they need you to push them over the top.
3-1 is doable. That's why game 3 was live or die. Because 3-0 is, this ain't Boston Yankees. It don't happen. It might happen in baseball, but it ain't happening in NBA. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks were not going to lose 4 straight. That wasn't going to happen. But down 3-1, you go back to Texas, 3-2, and then you got to do it all over again and steal one at MSG, and then you're game 7 at the Alamo. You know what I'm saying? But they being the Spurs, a win tonight. I'll talk a little bit about that when we come back, wrap this thing up, get you caught up on Dodger. No, I can't get you caught up on Dodger baseball because I'm going to watch that tonight after the Knicks game. So don't give me any scores. They're in Pittsburgh, are the Dodgers. In the meantime, keep it locked. Scott Jennings at the top of the hour. Tomorrow's a Thursday. We'll talk money with our money man, Daniel Petrie. Inflation jumped to 4.2. That'll be a big discussion on the table. And whatever else happens before 3 o'clock, Mr. Turnipseed is on vacation. He'll be back with us in a week or so. But in the meantime, again, keep it locked on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230. Streaming live at kernradio.com.
Kern Radio, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230.
Whenever you're ready. Also, did you pump up the ambassador?
Did I what?
Have you pumped up the ambassador?
Oh, that's tomorrow.
She called me during the show to confirm too, by the way, so you're good.
She confirmed with me right now during the show, so you're good.
She confirmed with me too.
Yeah, she called me.
She emailed me, and I said I apologize for the confusion. Three, two. I'll be honest with you. This is the first time. I know I've been critical from the get-go, but I've supported our effort in Iran. But this is the first time where I really don't see an off-ramp. You all believe that the Iranians are going to sign an agreement that they're going to just hand over their uranium? This could become a small aspect of Vietnam. That was awful. Anyway, let me make sure I get his name right. 3, 2, it's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Thursday TRBS. Well, we'll talk about the rise in inflation with our money man, Daniel Petrie. And finally, I got it right this time, Ambassador Jameson Greer. We'll talk about trade and the economy. Hope you'll join us right here on the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1230. I'll see you at 3. That was horrible.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. And you can find it in stores at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client,
Isn't that funny? We were talking about
Roland
cirrhosis
Rodriguez.
and then a
Hello,
liver commercial
this is
comes up.
Bakersfield General Surgeon Dr. Roland
Did you notice
Rodriguez,
that?
client and friend of Mr. Paul Sheldon. It is my great pleasure and privilege to relate to all of you my absolute exemplary experience with Team Paul Sheldon. I have also referred a number of my colleagues to Paul Sheldon's office, only to receive the most stellar feedback from my doctor friends regarding the office's expert navigation through the complex maze that is Medicare. And even though Paul Sheldon himself is now facing some temporary health challenges, his longstanding and most experienced and expertly trained team of ladies, Christine, Kelly, and Lynn, continue to masterfully guide the clients through the complicated world of Medicare. You most definitely could not possibly do any better than to reach out to Paul Sheldon several months before turning 65. Thank you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298. Hey folks, Scott Cox here, host of the First Look with Scott Cox radio program. You are listening to the Ralph Bailey Show right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1230 KERN.
About having more black brothers as quarterbacks in the National Football Hunter League. Right on.
I plan not only to have lots of black quarterbacks, but we're going to have black coaches and black owners of teams. As long as it's going to be football, going to be some black in it somewhere. Right. Right. So I'm tired of this mess that's been going down. You know what I mean? Ever since the Rams got rid of James Harris, that was my job. So we're going to get down on the case now. Yeah. What is it?
Mr. President.
Yeah, what?
Mr. Bigby, Mississippi Herald.
Sit down.
Richard Pryor from his short-lived NBC series, The Richard Pryor Show, which was a great show. But Pryor had problems with NBC. NBC had problems with Pryor. He literally wanted to quit after the first week. He literally wanted to quit after the first week because they, it's Richard Pryor. And again, I'm talking to old folks. This is in the 70s. This is vintage Richard Pryor, who was dropping N-bombs. I mean, one of his albums was called That Negro is Crazy. And I cleaned that up. And it literally said the N-word on the album. It was a white album cover with like a drawing of Pryor. And above his head, it says, That Negro is Crazy. And that was the name of the thing. So this is at the peak of his raw comedy bit. and it just couldn't work in television. And he wanted to push the envelope each and every week, and NBC would edit him and shut him down, and that would make him angrier. And then they were doing this bit where they were basically keeping him hostage. So he would do a bit like, well, I'm sure you've read how I've wanted to leave NBC, but now I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. I'm Richard Pryor, and I'm staying right here at NBC. And then they pan out, and there's a lion sitting next to him. And then he finally ends the commercial by saying, not as long as he's here, I'm not going anywhere. I love NBC. And they hated one another. And Richard Pryor is an interesting cat who his demons were his undoing. He should have been the star of Blazing Saddles. And it would have, not that he did not have a great film career in the 70s. He was, did several movies with Gene Wilder. Not that I was a fan of any of them. But Richard Pryor was actually a very good actor. He started acting in the story of not Mahogany. Diana Ross starred as oh God, what is her name?
Lady Sings the Blues.
Lady Sings the Blues. She played Billie Holiday. Thank you. See, all I need is a nudging, although I do need a nudging. But yes, Lady Sings the Blues. And Pryor had a small role as a piano player. And his role got bigger and bigger as they shot the movie because Pryor was just jumping off the screen. And what was supposed to be just like one scene, if you go back and watch Lady Sing the Blues, or for Black folks who have seen it many times, you see that Pryor is a big part of this. He was a very good actor. He starred in Bingo Long and the Traveling All-Stars with Billy D. Williams. He was actually a really good actor. He became kind of a shell of himself late. He's in that ridiculous Superman like 4 or 5, and he kind of became a caricature of his own self. But he was a very talented actor. He really was, and that was from his show, which was really, really good. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Anything on the board before we get out of here?
Yeah, I got a couple here.
By the way, I walk at designated times, top and bottom of the hour. So I run into the same people, particularly in the 5 o'clock hour, because I run into people who are leaving their office. And there's an older woman. In fact, did you know Spidey?
I don't think so.
Spider, the longtime producer here who left, and he was at Buckley Radio.
No, I never met Spider.
Okay. Well, anyway, his girlfriend, her mother, and his girlfriend used to work here. So I see her mother right when I make my 5:30 walk. And we were just talking about the weather. And she told me, she said, I'm not sure if I would walk tomorrow, Ralph. It's going to be 103, 104, maybe 105. And I said, were you listening to the show? And she was like, hell no. No, she just said, no, I wasn't listening. I said, because we were literally just talking about, or was I talking about that with you off the air?
I was off the air.
Yeah, I was talking to you off the air. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get my steps in. I'm trying to get around 7,000 steps a day. And I do partly in the morning, partly during the show, and just enough. I just don't want to sit here on my arse for 3 hours. But we're having a heat wave, y'all. And it's not a tropical heat wave. It's just going to be a pure, typical Kern County summer where we're going to be in the hundreds for the next couple of days. So we'll give you the typical warnings. Wear stuff like this. That's where I'm wearing white today, because for some reason I thought today was the Buck 05 day. I like to wear long sleeve T-shirts, to be honest with you. If you see workers in the field, et cetera, and out, they're all wearing, construction folks, they all wear long sleeve T-shirts to keep you cooler, believe it or not. I never believed that, but it is true. But stay hydrated, no matter how you feel. Try to stay hydrated. Check on the elderly. It just doesn't make any sense. I've never understood how people die of heat. You know what I'm saying? If it gets so bad, get a towel, a wet towel, keep yourself kind of, moist, get in a cold tub, do something, but check on the elderly. And let's take this little heat wave seriously. What do you got? Anything else?
Did I say this one? It wasn't a swastika. It was an SS death head, skull, and crossbones.
Yeah, I didn't say it was a swastika. I did not say it was a swastika because I got corrected about 2 weeks ago. I did not say it was a swastika. I said it was a Nazi symbol. And then I may have alluded to having something like a swastika on you. But no, it's a Tutankhamun, something like that. We could go back and play that audio from the Jewish lady on Abby Phillip, but I don't want to do that. We only got a couple of minutes left. But yeah, I'm aware of that. Thank you. What else? Any more?
Yeah, I got a couple here. Ralph, you're wasting your money with DirecTV, AT&T. I pay $50 a year plus internet, and I have every single channel playing all sports.
Yeah, and Randy told me I have a smart TV, so I can go to the ESPN app. That's how I'm going to watch the game tonight. But yeah, I'm almost done with DirecTV. You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. That is the smartest text I got today. You're absolutely right. I'm almost done with these people. What else you got?
This last one just says Streets of San Francisco.
Oh, that was a Quinn Martin production. You're absolutely right. And he used the scene thing in it too. Nice catch. You're absolutely right. That was the fourth one I was thinking about. My dad was a huge fan of all the Quinn Martins. And Cliff Martin, I hated Cliff Martin. You know why? Because Cliff Martin was a big strapping kid. And I was like, I wasn't like, but I would try to recruit kids because we were at a small school. We were in a small schools division. And our biggest problem was we couldn't get these kids to come out and play football. And Cliff Martin was bigger than I was. He was about 5'11", almost 6 feet tall, and he probably weighed about $175, $180. I'm playing safety at 5'10", and I think they had me listed at $160, and I didn't weigh, but I weighed about $150. But I was a problem. I didn't mind throwing my body around. I as a safety, I played it like Ronnie Lott. I really did. I threw myself around. I'll tell you a great story. It's not really a great story, but we're playing Coast Union, and they're going to blow our drawers off. And we absolutely know this. They've got a differential of their opponents by like 40, 50 points. So I told the team, I said, look, let's just let them get on the bus hurting. You know what I mean? Let's throw our bodies around and let these guys know, even if they blow us out, even if they stop the game, let's hit these guys all freaking day long and just make them hurt when they get on their damn bus and head back up to Central California, wherever the hell they're from. And on the second play of the game, I'm playing safety, and a guy is crossing, and I'm following a different receiver. And to make a long story short, I come across the middle and I turn and I just run into the guy, but I decleat him. And our team goes nuts. And I just ran into him. I wasn't making a tackle. I just ran into the guy. But it looked like I lowered the guy. Our team went nuts. We almost beat him. And I played it off like, yeah, I saw him and I gave him the business. You know what I'm saying? I ran into the guy. For Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. Wrap you the ball!
Current Radio, AM 1230, KERN, 96.1 FM, K241CI Bakersfield, an American General Media station.
Hour from Town Hall, I'm Keith Peters in Washington.
They're getting their ass kicked, aren't
more
they?
U.S. strikes on Iran.
They should get their ass kicked.
Has begun another round of strikes against Iran after President Donald Trump said more were coming, with Trump warning that Tehran would pay the price for stalled negotiations.
2-2, baby.
US Central Command says in a social media post that the military is striking multiple targets in Iran and that it's being done in response to Iran's unwarranted and continued aggression. The second day of American strike came hours after Bahrain, Kuwait, and Jordan, all of which host U.S. troops,
Oh,
under Iranian fire. It's the third time this week that back-and-forth strikes have tested a 2-month ceasefire. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The White House is touting a major investment in Homeland Security and law enforcement. Willie Nelson reports from the White House.
President Trump is discussing a newly signed $70 billion Homeland Security package.
So the bill provides crucial funding for domestic law enforcement investigations and combating child exploitation, continuing our work to restore law and order across our nation and to protect America's youth. We're so proud.
Willie Nelson, the White House.
Chicago police are urging residents to come forward with any information